Joe Rogan Podcast. Check it out.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan Podcast by night, all day.
Oh, hi.
We're up. We're back, baby. Whee! Dude, isn't this like we're closing in on our anniversary?
Yeah, again. What is it?
Again. It's the 31st, I think we did. Right. I think we did it on like New Year's Day. Yeah. Or New Year's Eve, rather. Christmas Eve? Oh, that's right. Yeah. Thank you, Jamie. Christmas Eve of 2009. And here we are, 2022, and we're about to go into civil war, total anarchy, the purge, all the above.
Everyone's losing their mind.
Everyone's losing their fucking mind. Did you see the breakout in the zoo? Did you see about that?
No.
Oh, my God. A bunch of chimps. They broke free, and they went wild, and they gunned them down. They gunned down, I think they gunned down 3 of them or 4 of them. It says insane things are happening. How do you say that word? Fursic? Where's Fursic?
Vic. Let's check.
Germany?
Sounds like it, right?
Yeah.
Sweden. Okay. Wow, they're pretty peaceful over there. They're gunning down chimps. So it says insane things are happening at the Fursic Zoo. 4 chimpanzees gunned down after a breakout. And a 5th shot but only wounded. 3 more on the loose. Drones are used to survey the besieged zoo. After 24-plus hours, the bodies still litter the ground. Zoo says they were out of tranquilizers.
What?
Bro, fuck zoos.
Is there video of this?
Fuck zoos.
Oh, man. It's just like...
I told you about that time I got super duper high and I went to the zoo with my kids and I got really bummed out. I wrote a story about it, about animal prison. Zoos are horrible. They're horrible. The only one who gets out of the zoo, I had that old bit about giraffes. They're the only ones that seem to have a good day. They're like another day with no lions. They don't give a fuck. They're happy to be in the zoo. They have 0 problems with the zoo. No one's trying to kill them. They just eat, and they're the only animals that they let babies feed them. When my daughters were little, like they could take a piece of like little tiny. You'd hold them. They hold a piece of lettuce out, and this giant giraffe tongue comes out, wraps around the leaf, and takes it from them. And everybody laughs, and you never have to worry about giraffes being cunts.
I bet they're the majority of the animals like the zoo. They don't give a shit like giraffes. I bet we're getting fed. I bet there's things like chimpanzees and certain animals that shouldn't be in a zoo. But half the animals don't give a shit.
I think the big one with lions is they don't get to kill anything. You know, that's like if someone just extracted sperm from you and you never got to have sex your whole life. Yeah. You're just like, oh.
It is weird.
Yeah, but that's their instinct, right? They have a built-in survival instinct to chase things and kill things. They're the cleanup crew. Oops. They're the cleanup crew for the jungle. That's what they do. Like when something's slipping, something's not quick enough, the lions are there to keep the balance. Otherwise, the deer would just overbreed. All the antelopes, there'd be too many of them. They need things to kill them. So they have this insane desire to kill things. And then when you just feed them meat, every day they're like, okay, I'll eat this, but I just want to fucking chase something. They don't even have any room to move around. Dude, I was coming home from a gig once. Actually, I don't think it was a gig. I think it couldn't have been because it was during the day. But it was early days of my comedy career. I was like 21 years old, and I was in Massachusetts, and I was driving home, and I saw this little zoo on the side of the road. Like, there was a direction to this little-ass zoo. So I said, all right, let me just, I got a little time to kill. We'll check out this little zoo. It was horrible. There was this polar bear, and he was in a room that was not much bigger than this fucking studio, and he was just walking around in circles, like a crazy person. I was like, oh, no. It was just so sad. The polar bears are used to dealing with gigantic icebergs that they could walk on, frozen sheets of ice, these little ice islands, and they're killing seals, and they're running around, and they're just out there in the ocean and the open air, and now they're in this Massachusetts little box. And it was the summer when I went there, too, so it was hot as fuck. And this poor polar bear is just wandering around in a circle. It's like, oh, why are we doing that? We know what they look like. It's not like the old days before they had video, where the only way you could see an animal was they had to capture it and bring it to the zoo. We fucking know what a polar bear... You don't have to go see them in jail for no reason. They didn't do anything wrong. They're not bad polar bears. It's fucked, man.
You've been out the zoo out here?
No. I don't want to.
Yeah.
It's probably the same shit. Where's the best zoo?
Yeah.
There's no
Columbus, Ohio. That's right.
All
Jack
roads
Hanna.
lead to Ohio.
It is the number one zoo though.
Yeah.
That
But
and
it-
San Diego.
But is it the best in terms of like the treatment of the animals?
As far as I don't. Yeah, that's what I think. Why they're number one.
Oh, well, I hope they
Hanna.
do a little bit better job. But isn't that like the prison where Ghislaine Maxwell is, where you get to do yoga? That lady doesn't want to be out there. She wants to be out pimping. They locked her up.
It's going to be virtual zoos in the future.
That would be better. It would be really better. What would be better is like you use Oculus, and they set up cameras where they go around these animals, maybe like with a drone, or they take a cat and they put a camera on its head and it wanders around with the other cats, and you get to be there in this wild way where you just like experience them existing. That would be dope. That would be really cool. Like if they did the metaverse and they did, like you could go to places where there's a lot of trees and just put cameras all around the trees where the lions are, and you could get like the cameras where the lions are. They would be able to find it out and send that one through the metaverse, and you could be like on the plains of Tanzania right now, just wandering around.
Yeah. They probably have that already for sure.
I hope they do.
Yeah.
That should be what a zoo is, especially as this stuff gets better and better and this virtual reality technology improves. There's no reason to keep these things captive like that. There's one argument, and that argument is conservation. They're taking endangered species, and then they're making sure that they have breeding populations. Like there's a few animals that are like really endangered, and the zoo is like one of the only ways they keep healthy populations of them. But other than that, the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Or injured animals. A lot of them are like injured animals. They can't go back into the wild. So
Yeah, that's what it should be, like a large area where they can roam around and some sort of an animal rehabilitation center. It shouldn't be those little ass fucking cages. Is there any video of the chimps?
I've been looking. I didn't see it. Just like of those before this incident, I haven't found anything of the incident.
Bro, I mean, that's just horrific. The whole thing is horrific. It's just like, it's really scary.
Yeah.
Imagine being like out there at the supermarket and you're got your bags, you're moving to your car, and you see 3 chimps running your way. Like, oh no. They must fucking hate people. They must fucking hate people.
How did they get out? Did they figure it
question.
out? Yeah, I wonder if they like picked a lock or something. You know what
Could
I
you
mean?
imagine if they figured out how to pick locks?
Right.
Oh my God, we're fucked. They got a stick in there, and the other one's moving the stick. Like maybe they pay attention to the way they turn the key, and they're like, "I heard a click in there. Just if that fucking click is the key, don't get the thing to click." And at nighttime, when no one's around, they got sticks in there, and they're going in there. There's some, I guess it would be anthropologists that are speculating that some primates have moved into the Stone Age right now.
Oh.
Yeah. So if you think about the Stone Age with ancient primates that became people, that process is happening right now with like chimpanzees and orangutans. Like there's you ever see the photo of the orangutan that spearfishes?
No.
It's crazy. He's hanging onto a tree with one hand, and he's got a stick with the other hand. He's fucking stabbing at fish.
Jeez.
Yeah. They're so close to us. They're just like a few million years away, as opposed to like a slug.
Mm-hmm.
Like so distant, they're not figuring out shit. But monkeys and chimps and all those primates, man, they're fucking thinking creatures. They're calculating,
And when they get those neural links in them, like you've seen the ones with the monkeys that can like use their mind.
Dude. But I mean, what would happen? Like legitimately, what would happen? So if this is the argument that chimpanzees are moving into the Stone Age, what if chimps really do continue to evolve alongside people, and then all of a sudden they start talking? Like what? How do we give them a country? Do we let them in the UN? Like what are we talking? Like if a million years from now, if human beings are still around, and chimpanzees have continued to evolve to the point where they start making clothes, they start killing antelopes and scraping the fat off of the skins and drying them out, wearing them as clothes and shit.
They start having rights. You're allowed to marry them.
Oh boy, right? Like the same people that think you should be a cat. Like I identify as a cat. I think a chimp should be. You can marry a chimp. He wants to marry you. You want to marry him? Let's go. I mean, that's basically what that lady did in Connecticut. That lady that had she had a chimpanzee and she was feeding it Xanax and drinking wine and sleeping in the same bed with it. And then her friend came over and the chimp tore her friend apart. Probably because her friend was cock blocking. Right? Don't you think? Like that. That was the speculation. Was that lady was banging that chimp? Because chimps probably have a big old dong. Don't you think?
I don't know. I don't feel like I've ever seen a chimp dick.
If you're a lady and you're not getting any play from humans, and you got this chimp that lives with you, and this is a big ass chimp too. This is like a really well fed chimp. So he's like, I want to say he was close to 200 pounds. He was fucking huge. You ever see pictures of him with a diaper? Mm-hmm. It's really confusing because you don't know how to feel about that. Like, on one hand, this lady loves this chimp, but when it goes wrong, they don't know what the rules are. They have no idea. Like, laws? What are you talking about? I'm going to bite your fingers off. Yeah.
That's not the same one. But
That's a different one.
Yeah.
But that's a chimp hanging out with a kid, which is like also quite sketch. But that's a little baby chimp. The one that lady had,
it's that one, right?
Wow.
I think it tore her eyes out too.
Oh my gosh.
I think those are glass eyes. If it's not her, it definitely that's the other guy that got attacked who brought a birthday cake for a chimp that he used to have. You know that story? He used to have a chimp that they took care of, and he got to a point where he was getting dangerous and they couldn't keep him anymore, so they brought him to like a place where they have chimpanzees, and they brought him a birthday cake. And the other chimps were furious that they didn't get a cake because chimps get really jealous. And they got out and fucked that guy up.
Wow.
Just tore him apart, tore his feet off.
That's right. Wasn't that in California, right?
I don't know where that was. But yeah, you can't do that to them. You can't just keep them contained like that. It's fucked. It's not necessary. It's like I don't think there's a good argument for doing that. The whole argument is that people get to look at them. Really? That's it? But there's parts of the world where their habitat is being encroached upon. They're in danger. So then there's that argument, right? Like maybe there should be a place where people protect them just in case they get to the point where, they're on the verge of extinction, because that would fucking suck. You know how devastating that would be to humans, to our psyche, of where we fit in the world if chimps went extinct? It was like, how many chimps are there? Let's take a guess. How many chimps are there in the world?
100,000?
It's probably a good number. With all the zoos, it might be a little higher.
Yeah.
I'm going to say 250. 250,000 chimps worldwide.
There's probably not even an answer to this question.
I guess.
That's the answer. You guys are right.
Are we right?
It says between 170,000 and 300,000 chimps currently living
Damn,
in the
son,
wild.
fucking nailed it.
It says wild, though.
In the wild.
In the wild. And then zoos probably jacks it up a little bit. How many chimps do you think are in zoos worldwide? Let's take that guess. 50,000?
20,000.
There's a lot of countries.
Yeah.
Hundreds of countries.
But each zoo probably has
Ooh,
what?
This is a dark question.
Okay. Before we find the
I don't know if
darkness,
you want it.
I do want to know. Let's.
No.
Well,
But I do want to know. Hold on a second. Let's just guess.
Okay. Zoo, every state.
I'm gonna say 50,000. James making noises over there. I'm way off. Okay.
it's a very low number, and there's a reason why.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay, I might stick with my 20,000.
Okay. What's the number?
About 300.
What?
In all the zoos in the world?
The remaining 1,700 were bred for inhumane medical research.
Oh.
They don't all go to zoos.
Like the movie 28 Days Later, right? When they give them that rage shit and they break out, zombie apocalypse. Tell me they wouldn't do that. Like before COVID, nobody thought like, well, this is a fun premise for a movie. This could never happen.
Yeah, I don't know how many are. As of 2015, this article says more than 730 remain in government or private research facilities. Some 540, I believe, were released at this time. This also says
It
there's
seems
a lot.
really low, though.
What's the option? If you're not going to use chimps, what do you use? Horrible people?
Yes.
Mass murderers, prisoners.
Yeah, why aren't they?
School shooters? Mm-hmm. Do you think people would sign off on that? You know what's interesting? They probably wouldn't. They'd probably say, no, you can kill them, but you can't practice medicine on them.
I wonder.
Can't put lipstick in their eyeballs and see what the shit they do with rabbits and stuff.
Yeah, but if you say to somebody and go, hey, instead of using animals for testing, this person that is on death row, would you rather have that than killing an animal?
What if you give them the option?
Yeah.
Man, that's a fucked up option.
I wonder. I bet people would say the prisoner on death row.
Well, the problem is like the justice system sucks. And there's a lot of people that are on death row that are 100% innocent. That's a fact. And so, like, a lot of people think the death penalty in itself is inhumane. And in fact, the woman who's the governor of Oregon, she just commuted, I believe, it was 17 people that were on death row. And if one of those is innocent, I support it. You know, it's the most fucked up thing ever if, like, someone killed your loved one and they're on death row. But what if they didn't? And what if they're accused of it? And then they wind up getting killed? I mean, it's like the system is so bad. And through the podcast that I've done with Josh Dubin, who he used to work with the Innocence Project. Now he does a lot of different programs along the same lines, though, where he's trying to get people out of jail that are clearly innocent. And prosecutors, man, there's a lot of good ones out there. There's a lot of good people that are prosecutors, no doubt. But there's also prosecutors that hide evidence. They withhold evidence that would exonerate people. They prosecute people they know are innocent. They railroad people. They keep people from being able to bring certain things up in trials. And, you know, you find out later that they knew all along. They had this guy. He was in the system. He was being tried. And they never want to say, hey, we fucked up. So instead of saying, hey, we fucked up, they hide all the evidence that they fucked up. It's not all prosecutors, but it's enough that the death penalty itself is very questionable.
I'm digging through this. In 1979, I found what is this from? An article in Corrections Magazine. It says that 85%, a few years ago, 85% of all drug testing was done in prisons. Now it's down to 15%.
All drug testing?
As of right now, it's illegal in California and plenty of other places, too.
The drug test people in prison?
Correct.
It's also illegal to ask them if they have a penis. Right? Which is a little strange. I mean, I'm all for people being able to express themselves and live however they want. However, there was a story that I was reading. I think I sent you this too, Jamie, about this article that was talking about this woman that brutally murdered and raped this woman, and about how unusual it is for a woman to brutally rape and murder another woman. Well, it turns out it's not a woman. It's a trans woman. But they have to call it a woman. So they're saying it's a woman. Like, so there's people that are phrasing it in this woke speak. And if you want to define what, you know, like, what do you, because woke is hard to define. People kind of know what it is. Like, oh, I fucking hate all this woke shit. But what does that mean? Like, what are you saying? And when you ask people to define it, it does get a little squirrely. It's like, oh, I didn't think about defining this. It's just sort of a thing that I know. And one of the things has to do with gender, because that's one of the biggest cultural changes over the last 10 years. But that one is bananas that they would phrase it that way, that they would say a woman. No, it was his ex-girlfriend that he killed, that he murdered and raped.
Right.
He was a man at the time. He was dating her. Like, to say, oh, it's so unusual for a woman to do that. It's like, what kind of game are we playing? Where you're talking about crime. And like that person that went to jail and said he was a woman and started banging all the inmates and got 2 of them pregnant. That person brutally murdered his mother with a knife. It's a horrible story. The cops that came to the scene said it was one of the most horrific things they had ever seen. Stabbed her from her face down to the bottom of her legs. Just, you know, an incalculable number of stab wounds probably. But you could say you're a woman, and all of a sudden you're in a woman's prison. And then there's like all these people that like have created a website, like, get her out. She's not supposed to be there. Let her express the gender of her, you know, preference. And like, this is bananas. Like, you guys are out of your fucking mind.
There has to be a birth sex on your future ID. So you have your sex, female, and then your birth sex, like a male or something like that.
Well, that would make sense, but none of this makes sense.
Right.
They would say, who is the doctor to tell you what your sex is? Well, it used to be just gender, but now they're equating sex and gender, right? Like, so when that Rachel Levine person became the first female admiral, they were saying they were saying female. They weren't just saying woman. They were saying female, as in like X distinction in the chromosomes. Like, listen, I know it's good to be kind to people. It's good to be nice. It's good to, like, I want you to be whoever you want to be, express yourself however. I love you. But what are we doing? We're in this fucking squirrely lunatic category. Somebody has a great fucking bit that Bill Burr sent me. Let's blow this cat up. I don't know this dude, but this bit is very funny. I'll find it right here. Where it's going around, Jamie, maybe you've seen it. It's a comedian who says he's all for... I'll send it. I don't want to fuck it up. Here, I'll send it to you, Jamie. Hold on a second. Give me 1 second. Here we go. Share. Jamie. Bam. It's just, I get where it comes from. I get that people want to let people feel free to be whoever they want. But at the same time, it's like, at what cost to all the other people? You know?
It's getting absurd. It's insane. They're going to have a separate jail just for like the in-betweens or something.
Play this guy's things. Here it goes.
I don't know how to say that.
Derek Languinus. Is that it? Let me see it again, please. Derek Languinus. It's spelled DericLenguenus on Instagram.
Trans women competing in women's sporting events. As long as I'm allowed to bet. Yes, I would like to put all my money on the lady with the size 11 sneaker, please.
It's a great joke.
I've got a feeling about her.
Now,
That's great.
And then this is how squirrely the world's gotten. There's people that'll say that that's transphobic, that bit is transphobic, because people want no criticism, and that's part of the problem. You know, it's like what we were talking earlier about, like what's going on Twitter right now. There's a lot of people that don't want any criticism. People have opinions. They just do. You can't stop them. You can't change their opinions. You know, you can just be you. You got to be you. But some people are just not good at it. They're not good at and as a group, if you've achieved protected status, like a lot of people, they feel like they categorize trans people in a protected class because they've been maligned and because they've been discriminated against. Now they're in a superposition. You know, like some quantum physics shit. you can't even criticize them, even if they're murderers. Mm-hmm. Even if they've brutally raped and murdered their ex-girlfriend, you still have to call them a woman. Even if they were a man at the time, still it's a woman. It's very rare for a woman to do this. Is it? Is it also rare for a woman to have a dick? Because what are we doing? What the fuck are we doing? But it's not anymore. You know? So there we are.
I can't even imagine what the world's going to be like in 40 years.
How about 5?
5 years.
How about 5 years? Who would have thought that everything, like the Leah Thomas thing with swimming, who would have thought that that's like the number one female swimmer actually has a penis and supposedly has sex with women? Okay. What are we doing? Like, imagine if you're a girl and you work so hard to get a scholarship and, you know, you're born, you didn't go through puberty with male levels of testosterone. Here's something that I found out the other day when we talked about this already, sorry, where James Cameron was saying that the testosterone is a toxin and needs to be released from men's bodies. Women have more testosterone than they have estrogen. Mm-hmm. Did you know that?
Yeah, I just found out that recently.
I found out from Rob Wolf. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's like that's their primary hormone.
And I have more estrogen than women.
That's what I heard. You are the most healthy, unhealthy person I've ever met. When you got your blood work done, I was like, huh, he's going to be okay.
You've been telling me I'm high on estrogen forever. Like, you know, we made jokes about me eating too much edamame or stuff like that. When I got my first blood work, when I first went to the tea place, they were like, wow, you got very low testosterone. You're at 240, I think it was 230. But your estrogen levels are some of the highest I've ever seen. He's like, we got to keep an eye on that because that might be dangerous. And I'm like, what?
Told you.
Yeah.
I smell it. I can smell it, I think.
So I just got my 6 week blood checked again. My estrogen levels have actually gone up, and like since last time, I have so much tea in me now. I'm like super high in tea, but I can't feel any of it because the estrogen's going against the tea. So I have to take this.
How much are you committed to being healthy?
Well,
sort
first,
of minimally committed, like a guy who plays golf once a month.
Well, as soon as I start getting energy, I'm for it. But that's the whole problem. Like right now, I mean, that's why I went to get my testosterone checked. Because now, especially the last 4 years, I don't know if it's age or what, but I wake up tired. I have zero energy. Like,
Bro, we're old.
Yeah, I know.
We talked about it. We started this podcast in 2009. That's a long ass time ago, dude. We're getting 12 years from now. We're going to be like geriatrics.
Yeah.
You know, if you're a woman and you have a baby after 35, they consider you geriatric.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
That's just the label they put on it.
Wow.
Yeah. Bridget Fetisi told me about that because she got pregnant at I think she was 41, I think, when she had her daughter. And they said she was a geriatric mom. And I was like, oh my God.
Jeez.
That's like one of them terms maybe you shouldn't. That hurts people's feelings.
Yeah.
It's like how they used to call kids with Down syndrome. They used to refer to them as like mongoloid idiot on their birth certificate.
That's hilarious.
It's not really for them or their parents. Like, geez, the word idiot. You know, fucking. How about someone with a chromosomal disorder?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I saw a T-shirt that was from 1982 that was like "Run for the Retarded," and it was like an actual charity.
There's golf. It's called swinging.
Oh, it was golf.
Yeah,
That's what
I
it
saw the
was.
Same shirt.
What?
I'll pull it up.
Like that's how they used to just refer to things.
I know another T-shirt.
I'm sure you know a bunch of
Remember
T-shirts.
that T-shirt?
Which one? Yeah. This is like, look, man. There's a lot of shit from not that long ago.
Yeah,
You
it's
get
so
in
ridiculous.
real trouble for them.
Yeah. It is, and just watching old movies, like they still talk. You know, they talk like
yeah.
you're like, holy shit, they just said that.
Yeah. Oh, well, if you go watch old comedies from like the 90s, like I tried to watch Superbad the other day. And unfortunately, it wasn't the other day. It was a while ago. But I was trying to watch it with my kids. And I realized like 5 minutes in, like there's no fucking way a 12-year-old should be watching this.
No.
I'm like, stop. I paused. I'm like, okay, we can't watch this.
Yeah, that's a dirty movie.
I didn't realize. I forgot how fucking dirty it was. I just remember it being really funny.
Yeah.
But it was, what was that? Like 2007 or something
Something like that. Yeah.
When was Superbad?
Sounds right.
2000. Yeah.
Something like that?
2000.
That might have been the last of the great over-the-top, fucked up, hilarious movies that you could never make today. And that and Tropic Thunder.
Tropic Thunder. Man, I just watched that. Rewatched that interview that you had with him. Yeah, that's still amazing that you could still rent it. You know, like
Yeah.
I'm surprised it's that and like Soul Man. Like I'm
Yes.
surprised. I saw that the other day. You could still rent that. I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah. When does that become a problem? Do people? Because you know, people will probably. I mean, they're already doing things like getting rid of certain books that have like fucked up language in it. Like they got rid of, I think it was Huckleberry Finn because it had the N-word in it, and they removed that from certain libraries.
Mm-hmm. Pixar's going in and editing parts out of their movies already because of things. And
Really?
Yeah, there's a Toy Story. Yeah, there's Toy Story, and the guy that plays Frasier, he's like flirting creepily with the two Barbie girls, and it's just like really scummy. And they cut that out.
How about Pepe Le Pew?
Oh, Pepe Le Pew.
Pepe Le Pew was a rapist skunk.
Right.
He was a groper. Mm-hmm. He was a total sexual harasser. Like he didn't take no for an answer ever.
Speedy Gonzalez.
No, what did he do?
It's just like
Oh, because he's
over
Mexican?
the top Mexican, you know. Arriba, arriba.
There's a guy who put a sombrero on, and he went around all these people in their 30s, and he said, "Is this offensive?" And they're like, "Yes, it's very offensive." And they're like, "Are you Mexican?" He's like, "No." Then it's offensive. Like all these people said it's offensive. And then he went to a Mexican neighborhood, and he said, "Is this offensive?" They go, "No, it looks good." They liked it. They said,
How
like
is
your
that
hat.
offensive? That's crazy.
It's crazy. It's like, is it offensive if an Asian guy wears a cowboy hat? Like, is that offensive? Like, what's offensive? Like, why is it offensive? A sombrero is kind of a dope hat. Mm-hmm. Yes, it's Mexican, but you're not like stealing it from the Mexicans. You're not like claiming that you're Mexican. You're just wearing a dope hat. But some cool shit you're allowed to wear, right? Like you could wear a jiu-jitsu kimono, right? You're not pretending you're from Japan. You're wearing, a dobok. You're not pretending you're from Korea. Why is that okay?
Yeah, I don't see that at all. I never.
It's a hat. It's a dope hat.
Yeah.
Big old crazy ass
They
hat.
sell those hats at gas stations, you know?
And they wore them to protect themselves from the fucking sun.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a fucking great invention, really. Like, hey, I'm tired of getting cooked. How about a shade? Just carry it on your head. Like an umbrella on your fucking head. Sombreros are the shit. Plus, whenever a fighter fights, a Mexican fighter, like when we went to see Canelo Alvarez fight Triple G, it was awesome because they had a mariachi band, a full mariachi band. And they came out and they played. Whenever a Mexican fighter fights, they kind of have to have mariachi music, right? They kind of do, right? I mean, you're not going to see a Mexican fighter coming out to Slayer, right?
Yeah.
They kind of like a lot of Mexican fighters, like particularly in boxing, they come out to that mariachi music, man, and everybody goes nuts. They go nuts. They were singing along to it. It was fucking dope. Seeing a Canelo fight where it's all Canelo's fans, and you get to see like in the person, in the flesh, and hearing them all singing to this song that you don't even know, it's pretty wild.
Speaking of Mexican, did you hear what happened to El Compadre in Los Angeles, the restaurant?
Did they get busted for selling coke?
No, something crazier. There was
I just guessed that, by the way. I'm joking.
I mean, that's where Lindsay Lohan used to get it, allegedly.
Allegedly?
But no, supposedly there was a guy there with his boyfriend, and he's an actor. And the managers came up to him and yelled at him, saying, "You're not allowed to kiss." I guess they were kissing. They had a kiss on the lips.
What?
And said, "You're not allowed to do this here." And
actor claimed he was scolded for kissing his date. Really? In fucking L.A.?
Yeah.
What? Last night, El Compadre Echo Park, I was reprimanded by a manager for kissing another man at 6:30 p.m. in the middle of our second drink. That's usually when the kissing starts. What's up? Told, this is a family restaurant and we don't allow that behavior here. We will never be back. I encourage you all to find another place too.
You should read what the manager said. There's more to it, like below this. No, I mean on that.
Did the manager respond, or is it his version of what the manager said?
It's more of what happened. I guess they interviewed
other people.
No, they interviewed the guy more. Like that's just like a tweet.
Right.
Where the heck did it go?
I mean, it's hard to say, right? He said he threw his hands in front of us and said, "I don't care if you're the president of the United States. We don't allow your behavior here." Since the post went viral, El Compadre said in a statement below, the now fired manager went against the restaurant's core values. We have been in business for almost 50 years. We accept, appreciate, and value every customer that walks through our doors, and this behavior will never be tolerated in our establishment. The restaurant said in part on social media, we do believe El Compadre to be a family restaurant, and coming into our restaurant is like coming into our home. In our home, we believe in love and equality, and the fact that one of our employees made someone feel unsafe is not acceptable to us. That's a good answer.
Yeah.
It's kind of fucked up if that's all they did is kiss each other.
Yeah.
If that's exactly what. But what if they were just getting
jacking it
after
off.
it, just jacking each other off and tonguing each other down?
I mean, it is El Compadre, too. If you know what El Compadre is, like one of the biggest scum holes in the world.
It's great, by the way. We should say it's great.
Yeah. It's great.
And the food's awesome.
Amazing. I love it.
I fucking love that place.
Yeah,
Every time I go to that place, I have a big smile because half the time I was there, I was with Joey Diaz.
Yep.
Because that was his spot. He would go there. He's like, he would start speaking Spanish to everybody.
Well, he was there for another reason.
He was there for other reasons, too. But he was also there for the food. The food was great. That was a spot you would meet a lot of people after shows. We'd go after shows and we'd meet other comics, the folks who were working the Laugh Factory and the Improv and shit. It was fun, man. That was one of the things that I miss about L.A. It was like those kind of little hangouts.
Yeah.
Remember Swingers?
Oh, yeah.
That was a great little spot.
Swingers.
Good late night food. And there was that Mexican place on Beverly that was like that, too, that was open 24 hours.
Coyote?
No. That was the one with the great margaritas.
Yeah.
That's a great spot, too.
And they closed down that one place we used to always go to in the hotel.
Oh yeah, in the what was that hotel?
Standard?
Standard, yeah. That place was great. You get a real meal at like 1:00 in the morning, like steak and salad, and it was great food. That place was so weird. I remember the first time I went there, I don't remember what year it was, but it was early on. I walked in there and I was in the lobby, and there was a girl who was in a fish tank behind the managers and the front desk people, just reading a book in her underwear.
I knew a girl that had that job.
It's the weirdest thing. They're not supposed to interact with the people. It's supposed to be like a voyeur type art piece. So this girl is in her underwear and she's really cute. And you know, you're looking at her legs and her butt, and she's just reading a book with like her feet up in the air on her stomach, just sitting there reading this book. You're like, whoa, L.A. It really is like this. When you come from somewhere else and you just get to L.A. and you see shit like that, you're like, oh my God, this is real. There's been a few times where I've been in L.A. where I was like, oh, this is like the real Hollywood.
Yeah.
You know?
I went to a party and they had baby lions there, or baby tigers. I was like, how the fuck is this possible? Like, where did these tigers come from? And you would just go in this room and you were allowed to pet the tigers and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's up in those Hollywood Hills and in Beverly Hills, and like when all those really crazy people get together, there's real, like, the stuff that you hear. It's like real. That's real. You know, when you see those Bryan Singer parties where he has like 100 boys in a fucking pool with red lights and everybody's partying, you're like, Jesus, this is like what people think of when they think of like Hollywood debauchery.
Yeah. I miss it, but I don't miss it. It's not that I wouldn't.
I miss stuff. I missed it, but I went through it. I got it. I get it. Took it all in.
Yep.
You know, you don't want to be in the sun all day long.
Right.
You go get a little sun, then go inside and cool off. It's like you're living your whole life in LA. I think it's bad for the psyche. But there's no weather. Everyone's trying to get famous, and you're dealing with these strange people. I went to this bizarre party once in the Hollywood Hills with Chappelle. We're hanging out at the store, and we both did sets. And then Dave's like, "You want to go to this party with me?" I go, "What? What is it?" And he's like, "It's Naomi Campbell's birthday." And I said, "Oh man, I fucking hate those things." Like, "Oh Joe, come on, come with me. Let's have a good time." We were high as fuck too, and so we go up to this party, and we get on an elevator with Demi Moore, and we're going up the side of this hill. They have an outdoor elevator. Like you're standing on this elevator and it takes you up, and there's Demi Moore is there, and Lenny Kravitz is there, and Naomi Campbell. And Naomi Campbell is posing, and there's like hundreds of photographers. Like, not hundreds, I'm lying. 10, you know, a lot. Lights, like real ones. And she's like posing, and she looks amazing. And as you're going up the hill, there's a photograph of her, and it's like 30 feet tall, and it's naked. It's a naked photograph of Naomi Campbell that they put on the side of this hill, at the side of this building that's on this hill. It's wild. It's like a total eyes wide shut party. And we're there, and we're hanging out. And I said to Dave, I'm like, this is crazy. I'm like, this is so bizarre. He goes, man, I never want to be that famous. I go, hey, motherfucker, you're the most famous person here.
Yeah, you're more famous.
And he goes, really? I go, yeah, really. I don't think Dave thinks about that much, which is why he can be Dave. You know, he just exists in this like cool zone of just being funny and writing better stand-up and getting up there and killing. So like him there was the whole thing was so odd. But I met a bunch of cool people though. Lenny Kravitz is very cool. So like a lot of those people when they're around other famous people, they're super normal. They're like, oh, you're just a person who just happened to get famous, you know, and now you're fucked because you can't really just be. You can't just really go places. Everybody weirds out when they see you. So they all get together and weird out together. You know, it's a little bit of a prison of its own.
Did you ever meet Brad Pitt?
Mm-mm. I'd like to though.
Yeah.
I think he's probably pretty cool.
Yeah.
By all accounts, you know. He's got that thing where he can't recognize faces.
Yeah.
Isn't that bizarre? Imagine what that is. Like, what is that? Imagine not even knowing you had it, just thinking you're fucked. Like, why is everybody so friendly? And I don't even know who the fuck anybody is. You have to recognize people by the way they move and the noises they make. And then when everybody else starts talking about faces, you're like, what? Faces? You recognize faces? Like, imagine when you first find out you're colorblind. Like, little kids don't know they're colorblind. Probably takes a while. You know?
How would you even know?
I guess, like, someone says, pick the red one. And you're like,
Yeah, but wouldn't the red one still be, like, what you think red is? You know what I mean? Like, it would
right.
be...
Well, that could be the case anyway, right?
Right.
I mean, I think you're wearing a blue spacesuit.
This is red, dude.
But what is blue?
Right.
Like my daughter brought that up the other day, which is hilarious when like a 14-year-old thinks about things like that for the first time.
Deep.
Yeah, she sounds like a stoner. She's like, okay, I have red nails, but how do I know that you see red the way I see red? I go, we really don't. It's just kind of guessing.
Right.
Which makes sense, right? Because like food tastes so different to other people. Like some people love spicy food. Some people hate it. Some people love like really rich flavors like Indian cuisine. Some people hate it. Like what are they what are they tasting? Is it the same? I mean, like, is it like a nose? Like some people's noses work better. Some people have better eyesight. Maybe taste buds are different too. Some people just get like this. I just want mashed potatoes and gravy. That's all they want. That's the only thing that tastes good to them. There's people like that.
Baby food.
Bro, they just my wife's mom. You put pepper on her food. She's like, "Oh, it's so spicy."
Pepper?
Everything's spicy to that lady.
I saw a video.
She's the best.
A lady couldn't eat vegetables at the sight of any. It wasn't really even vegetables, just any other food besides like mashed potatoes and cheese. She just started like vomiting, like dry heaving. She had to eat in the other room from her husband. Couldn't even look at his food on his plate.
Wow.
You like they watched like, please try. Come on, honey, try. Like this is like steak.
You got to wonder if like maybe someone fucked with her when she was a kid. You know, like tried to get her to eat a bunch of stuff she didn't want to eat. Like Eddie Bravo had this bizarre thing about onions. He fucking hated onions. You have onions anywhere near him, I hate onions. And I got to it like one day, like, what is this onion thing? It's like my father used to make me eat like everything like on my plate, and it was like onions. I hated onions. He made me eat them, and now I fucking can't stand them. You could ruin a kid that way, you know?
Is there any food that you can't stand, like if you want to even try?
No, I have a pretty wide palate. I like food. I mean, there's food that doesn't agree with me,
Right.
but I love it.
Right.
You know, like pasta. That's the big one. Pasta does not agree. I get a fat gut and I get distended. Ooh, I just look bloated. I feel terrible, but I love it when it's
did
going
that
down
start?
the hatch.
You always had that? No.
I don't know, because I think I've always been a glutton, which is a problem. It's not like I'm eating a little bit of pasta. I have a problem with eating too. I've been trying to stop now, where I'm like, I'm not hungry anymore. Stop eating. But before, I would just keep going. I wanted to be like, oh, like that's what I wanted to feel. I wanted to feel, oh, just fucking stuffed, which is a dumb thing. You really shouldn't ever be that, unless this is the only time you get to eat, you know, because you're a hunter-gatherer and like, finally we found food I haven't eaten in days. You're really not supposed to be stuffed.
Yeah, and I think, at least I grew up always thinking you wanted to get stuff. That's when you got to the end of eating. You know what I mean?
Clean your plate.
Yeah, I think it's parents again.
Oh, well, they would get... Well, you know, if you think parents grew up with parents that were in the Depression, which my parents grew up with my grandparents who, they grew up during the Depression. Like, my grandmother left, like, little coffee cans filled with money tucked away, squirreled away in little holes in the house. And they found all this stuff like after she died. They're like cleaning things up, and they found like money that she had squirreled away, because they were always thinking that the banks were going to fail, and that they were in a real fear of starving to death. We are so fucking spoiled. So they went from starving and, you know, not knowing where your next meal was coming from, to finally things turn around, everything gets, and then they raise kids, and then they're raising kids that are growing up, you know, during the 60s. And, you know, things are much, much better. And then these kids have kids, and they just do the same thing their parents taught them. Clean your fucking plate. You got to eat it all of it. You're not going to waste food in my house. Like, oh, why'd you give me so much?
Yeah, exactly. It's your fault.
Yeah, but everybody was happy that they could give people their fill. You know? It's like there was this famine mentality, and then it was replaced with this just glutton mentality for some people. You know, and if you grow up like that, you know, it's fucking hard to kick that thing in your head. If you have like Italian family, oh my God, My grandmother would stuff you. She would stuff you. She was always making this big plates of lasagna. And she would make pasta on the kitchen table. It was wild to watch. She'd throw the flour on and roll the fucking dough.
Nice.
And cut the pasta and boil it. It was sensational. It was the best pasta you have ever had. She'd make her sauce from tomatoes my grandfather grew in the garden. She didn't fuck with anything from the store. She got the least amount of shit she could get from the store, like flour. And she's like, probably didn't even want the flour. She would do everything. Everything was homemade. The whole thing was homemade. It was amazing. They would buy bread from this place that had been selling bread for like who knows how many fucking years, 100 years or something. They would walk in their neighborhood down to this Italian bakery every day and get a loaf of bread. That was like a thing people did. They'd meet there. They'd talk shit. You know, they all talk Italian. They go back, bring their bread, and just dip it in the pasta sauce. And those fucking people, man, when they finally got food, they made like filling food. You know, like the Italians in particular, like that came to America, their food is different than the Italians in Italy. Like the things that we think of as Italian food, like spaghetti and lasagna and meatballs and stuff like that. Spaghetti with red sauce, with meatballs. They don't have that over there. Grated cheese all over it and shit. They don't have that over there. It's like everything over there is like the pasta is much more consumable for whatever reason. It doesn't fuck with your digestive system because of the different wheat they use. But also the portions are smaller, and it's a long process. You sit down for a long meal. People are drinking wine and enjoying themselves because they didn't go to America. They weren't the wild motherfuckers that took that trip and took a chance and went across the road or went across the ocean rather before they invented film. Like, you couldn't even see a video of what America looked like back then. When did they start coming over here? Like, when did Italians start making their way over here? It was probably, like, the end of the 19th century, if I had to guess. My grandparents came over here in the beginning of the 20th century. It's like, oh, man, we're so lucky we're living now. This is a so much better time to live.
But kind of not. I kind of want to go back to the 1900s.
I don't want to go back to that time. I don't want to. I like it now. I think I have a healthy perspective on what it's like to live in 2022. There's problems that we have that are very unique. But I think every single generation, the generation that had the car, like all of a sudden you could drive everywhere. Like the generation where they developed the printing press, like, oh my God, we're reading things. Do you know what most books were when they first invented books? You think of like, oh, they wrote knowledge down, and this is how they, wrote history and documented things for future generations. Nope, it was like how to spot a witch. It was like those kind of books. They probably led to so many people killing people because they thought they were witches. Mm-hmm. Like it's stupid shit. Because you think most of the people back then were not educated at all. Like a lot of people probably couldn't read. So when books finally came around, people started reading. You're dealing with people that are like super unsophisticated, probably a lot of them, very superstitious. They really believed in that kind of stuff.
I wonder if there's people against books when it came out. Like, they're teaching the devil.
100%. Always. There was definitely people that were upset about the printing press. They thought the printing press was going to fuck everything up and that books should be written in like a fucking feather, a quill, in elegant handwriting. You could just go back and look at the way they used to write, where all their letters were perfect. They were all the same height, and it was beautiful to look at. Like, if you look at the way I write my notes, I fucking have deteriorated. Like, we have completely regressed.
Yeah.
They don't even teach cursive anymore in most schools.
My mom still writes me cursive letters, and I can't even, I've almost not been able to read half of the letter now because I'm like, I don't remember how to read this.
Really?
Because when was the last time you read cursive?
One thing about cursive is that AI doesn't read cursive. So if you want to talk shit on Instagram, make a post and put it in cursive and then take a photo of that thing and then post that.
Wow.
And that way it won't flag all your shit talking. All the things that, like, there's certain words that get flagged,
Yeah, I fuck around with AI a lot. I use it all the time, and you're not, it flags certain things, so you have to be really creative. Instead of like a woman's breast, you got to be like, Victoria's Secret. You have to like use all these words that like try to get to her to have good boobs and stuff.
But then
like
how do they do all those dirty ones? Like, I've seen Joey Diaz with giant dicks.
Yeah, well, there's a few that allow you to do dirty ones, but they're not as good usually as good as the legit ones. You know, the one I use, I pay like $30 a month for, and you know,
Really?
yeah,
That's more than Netflix, isn't it?
yeah, but it's so much more fun. It's addicting. I'll just sit there and spend like hours trying to make AI to make the perfect poster or something like that. It's perfect for posters, though.
The illustrators are getting very upset. People are very upset. There's a guy who just made a children's book, and all the illustrations have been generated with AI, and people are super upset with him.
I was just looking. There's a new game that Justin Roiland made.
It's awesome.
Trying to read if he used AI art or what exactly this says.
And people are mad at him?
I don't know.
AI art.
Yeah, I've seen this game, but I didn't know it had anything to do with AI art.
It's something high, right?
It says used controversial AI art for new shooters. Let's say.
Isn't it interesting
High on
that
life.
it's all computer-generated images anyway? Right? It's not like people are Rick and Morty creator.
Yeah.
Oh,
This game is badass, man. It
look
just
how
came
dope
out.
it looks. Rick and Morty creator used controversial AI art, voice acting in new shooter. Oh, and voice acting, AI voice acting.
Used a machine learning algorithm to create poster art and even a vocal performance.
Well, listen, why is that bad? I don't understand how that's bad.
Yeah, I don't either.
This idea that you're putting people out of work, yeah, that's true. But that's also the case with like autonomous trucks. Like, should we not have autonomous trucks that never crash, or should we let truckers get high on meth and drive across the country? Which they don't anymore, I should just say. They actually limit the amount of time that they're allowed to be behind the wheel, where they used to just fucking meth up and let's go, and they make it across the whole country in a day. They're not allowed to do that anymore.
I see why artists are pissed, though, not because they're going to lose their job, which they definitely are, because it's amazing what AI, but AI takes from other artists, like a style of an artist. So you can like see other people's work in the AI, like AI is using their kind of style. So I see that. It's kind of like copying and just changing little things.
I posted some of that the other day from Alex Gray. Who,
Oh, yeah.
Look, I love dearly. I've had Alex on the podcast before. I think his art is amazing. But this stuff is incredible.
Yeah, look at that.
Go one more to the right of that. Look at that. These are insane, man. This is insane. Look how gorgeous that is. And that's done in Alex Gray's style. And a lot of people don't like it. They're upset with it. Look at that. Come on, man. That's
it's amazing.
Fucking beautiful. Even how like one eye is different than the other eye. One eye's kind of droopy. Look at that. Is amazing. Anyone that says that's not beautiful because it wasn't totally done by the hand of a man or a woman or a non-binary person. Look at that. That's incredible, man. Look at this where the skulls go into the mushroom. I'm sorry. That is fucking beautiful. And it is created by a person because a person had to program this thing. Is it the same? Do I value it the same? No. Because what I value from a piece of art is that someone created it. There's a thing about it, but it's a different thing. I still think that's beautiful. You know, like I've like when I see like a video game that uses like that new Unreal Engine that's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get upset that someone didn't paint that. You know,
Right.
I don't get upset that someone didn't create the textures all on their own. I just look at it and say that's beautiful. But is it the same as someone doing an amazing animation that they drew by hand, like the old Mickey Mouse days? No. No, those are different things. But they're just because someone can do it better now with technology doesn't mean it's bad. Like, fuck AI art. Okay. But isn't it gorgeous? Like, I get what people are saying, that you're taking someone's style. I get, but I think human beings are still going to make the distinction of something being gorgeous, like that a person makes, like with a person does it with their hand. They're going to like that more, always.
I just did Joe Rogan in the style of Alex Gray.
Oh my God, that quickly?
Yeah.
There's a voice changer that I've used to make my voice sound like yours.
Yeah. Have you seen that yet?
Pretty good. It's pretty good. I saw one where they had me doing a podcast with Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It is so crazy.
And it's just a matter of time before that's just available to everyone. Everyone uses it. You know, like you like a girl, you have a video where she says, "Brian, I love you," and you send it to her, and she's like, "What the fuck? I never said this." You know? What is this? This is fake?
contemporary
Yeah.
terms, it is not. What if I were to tell you that I am not even a human being? Would you believe me? What is your perception of reality? Is it the ability to capture, process, and make sense of the information our senses receive? If you can see, hear, taste, or smell something, does that make it real?
Oh my God, this is
Or
incredible.
Is it simply the ability?
So this guy is this bald
I
dude
would like to
who's a
welcome
white
you
guy
to
on the
era
bottom,
of synthetic reality.
and there's a Morgan Freeman
I am
that's
not-
artificially generated that's above him that's saying the words that he's saying in Morgan Freeman's voice, and it looks flawless.
In real time. He's talking in real time. So
Is it definitely in real time,
yeah,
or is it
that's
edited
him.
together?
That's him right there doing it exactly.
He might have edited himself back in to make this video,
Right.
But he was recording his voice probably in real time.
Yeah.
and then it's generating that in real time. But he might have done a little bit extra work to make this all happen and make it look so unbelievable.
But as processing power gets better, like the fact that they can do that in real time, it just shows you how amazing the processing power is. Like if it gets better and better than that, they'll be able to not just do a person's face with a black background, but like a complex imagery in the background. Like that person could be on the moon, that person could be in Antarctica.
And then you mix robot with that realistic robot. So like the robot that Elon's making, and then you put like a fake skin on him, and then real time that could be a robot Joe Rogan, and voice wise,
100%. That's coming for sure. For sure, everyone's gonna have like Scarlett Johansson in their house. That's like their maid is gonna be a robot that looks like what's that lady from Modern Family, bombshell lady.
Sofia Vergara.
Sofia Vergara.
yeah.
You're gonna have Sofia Vergara cooking food in your house and greeting everybody at the front door, and you're like, what? There's like 3 of her in your house? Like, what's going on? You know, like if you go to Bill Gates' house, there's just all these like super hot robots.
all with rusted crotches.
That's the first thing that break. You know, it's like in the old cars, like the brakes didn't work that good. These robots, they rust up.
The crotch.
They find out that you can't come in them.
Yeah.
You can have sex with them, but you got to pull out because something happens. There's a lot of corrosive aspects to your jizz.
Does your robot have crust rotch?
Crust rot.
Build up.
Crotch
Oh,
rust. I knew what you were saying, but
WD.
Crust Rot should be the name of your band. Crust Rot.
Dude, you see Crust Rotch last night?
Bro, they fucking slayed. They'd be one of them hardcore bands who like fucking jumps around, just leaps into the audience. Boy, that's some shit that I've never experienced live. Like those hardcore bands, like the Cro-Mags or
okay.
something. I've never experienced that live. Like, it must be insane when they're just fucking screaming and just jumping into the audience and shit.
Being in the pit or being in the mosh pit.
You know who
was
loves that
crazy.
stuff? Chappelle Lacey.
Oh, yeah.
He fucking sings that shit.
Yeah, he's in a band that does that. Like, yeah, Joelberg's in it also. And it's nonsense. You would never think that, right?
Well,
That's-
my friend Ray, who's been on the podcast before, Yoga Ray, we used to call him from jiu-jitsu, he was the lead singer of Youth of Today. Is that what it was?
Youth of today.
What is his, he has a yoga name now. It's like, I'll tell you what is, he's a great guy, by the way. Like, I fucking love him to death. He's such a cool guy. He's such he's always been an interesting guy. But, yeah, okay. I'm trying to, Raghuna, Raghunaath, Raghunath Yoga.
Jeez.
Yeah, so that's his name's Ray Capo. But we always used to call him Yoga Ray. But anyway, Yoga Ray is like this super peaceful guy who's like this amazing yogi, teaches yoga. He was in a hardcore band. Like the hardest of hardcore.
Shelter.
He was in that too.
Yeah.
But he was in Youth of Today. If you find Youth of Today video, find a video of their concert. Ray Capo, Youth of Today. And that kind of music is like tape your ankles up.
They say he was an ex-monk.
Oh, yeah, he was a monk. He's a fascinating person. Like, really, really. And he's the real deal. That's them back then. See if you can find a video.
What is that?
It's not gonna be a very good video.
The Cher's funny story. I think that was the story that he
1988.
told from the. Yeah, that's fine. I think that was a story he. Yeah, there it is. 1988.
Terrible video.
Wow. But let's listen to it. Is this Shelter or is this Youth of. Yeah, Youth of Today. Give me some volume. They don't have any volume.
It's gonna be shitty audio too.
Well, get it so where they're actually singing. push ahead here. Look at him, he's just bouncing around. This is 88, dude. Now, would you ever imagine that this guy jumping around screaming would be a yogi?
No.
But that's people are complex, Brian Redban. There he is.
Wow.
But he's a real deal. Real deal. Really good guy. Sweetheart of a person. And really good at jiu-jitsu. But his jiu-jitsu was very odd because his legs, he had so much leg dexterity from jiu-jitsu and he's so flexible. Like his legs were all over the place. He couldn't get past his legs were arms. Couldn't get he had like extra arms. He just wrap you up and grab you and shit with his legs.
It's crazy. It's crazy how big jiu-jitsu has become. Like everyone's like females are doing jiu-jitsu. You know, Justine, she does jiu-jitsu.
Maybe that's your pathway to health.
No, I'm not doing. I'm too old for that, man.
Brian Redban.
I don't want
No,
to
you're
fuck
not.
my knees already fucked up. I don't want it.
Did you ever find out what's wrong with your knee?
Yeah,
that trick knee that just pops out.
Every 6 years that happens. I'm not looking forward to having it again, man.
Why don't you get an MRI?
I did all of it. Like there's really nothing. I don't know. I just
What'd they say?
I don't remember, but it's just going to happen over and over and over again. I probably could get some kind of surgery, but if it happens every 6 years, that's fine.
Maybe get some stem cells in there.
That's probably what I need to do for sure.
But you don't know what the injury is.
It's just it's a, what is it? Loose cap.
Loose cap. Maybe just your knee needs exercises,
Yeah.
like some knees over toes guy shit.
Yeah, I was supposed to go to a lot of physical therapy and build it up the knee muscle, but
You were supposed to.
Fuck that shit. Physical therapy is the worst.
Well, it's necessary, right?
Right.
You get an injury, they help you rehabilitate
I
it.
went to it once, and it's just like, all right, now sit on this bed, and all right, I just want you to bend. We're going to do this 200 times.
Yeah.
Why am I paying for this? No, get out of here.
Because they're trying to get you healthy, buddy.
Want that?
What do you want them to do? You put electrodes on it and just
Yeah,
zap it, make it right.
Put some stem cells in there and let it.
How often do you work out?
I don't right now.
At all?
No, zero.
Wow.
Zero
Probably should do a
workout.
little, huh?
Yeah. Yeah,
Maybe
for
just
sure.
walk.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I do that.
Yeah, but like walk around your neighborhood.
Yeah, I do that. Like walk the dogs and stuff like
There
that.
you go. That's something.
Yeah.
That's definitely better than nothing. Walking is one of the best ways to burn fat, too. People go on long walks, like slow, steady walk. Like a lot of guys that are trying to get ripped, they'll spend like an hour and a half every day just walking. And it's just like a slow fat burn.
Yeah.
Guys are trying to get ripped.
My neighborhood has bobcats in it though, so like I don't like walking my dog right now.
Oh,
There's a
really?
whole family, and like there's 4 of them, 5 of them, and
They probably wouldn't try to snatch your dog. Coyotes would, though.
yeah.
You see that video of the coyote trying to snatch that kid in Woodland Hills?
Yeah, they ended up finding it and killing it. That poor little baby has to get rabies shots and shit like
Yeah,
that.
it's horrible. Yeah, because she actually got bit.
Mm-hmm.
It probably didn't have rabies, though. It was just acting like a predator.
You see the raccoon? Same thing.
Yes.
Same
Yes,
thing.
But that raccoon probably did have rabies.
Yeah.
Because when a raccoon isn't it nuts that there's a disease, just like that rage thing from Planet of the Apes, there's a disease that makes you aggressive so that you can give it to someone else.
Yeah.
Well, you bite them and then they have it. And it's fatal to people. Like 99% of the time when people get rabies, they're dead.
Yeah.
If you don't get shots, like right after you get bitten, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Ooh, rabid raccoon found in Chartwood community of Saverna Park.
I was just picking up rabid raccoon.
Look at that face. Jesus.
Oh.
But meanwhile, some people have them as pets, and they're cool as fuck. Look at his little face, though.
Raccoons are cool.
They are cool, but imagine if they were huge. Imagine if a raccoon, because it's kind of like a bear. I mean, look at that. Go back to that. Go to that photo to the far left. Now imagine that's 1,200 pounds and running around the woods like a bear. You know, like a big ass coastal brown bear in Alaska. What the fuck? They're just as scary as a bear.
Is that
Maybe.
their-
Oh.
But then he's adorable.
His little hands.
Look at that. He's adorable in that picture.
Are they related to bears?
That's a good
Or
question.
what's the?
They
That's
look
a
like
good
that.
question.
What is that? Asian red bear? What's it called?
Koala? Panda?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Red panda?
Red
Pandas
panda.
are. Oh, there's a red panda?
Yeah, those.
What family of animal are they?
Red panda, real quick.
Yeah,
She
look
looks
at those.
kinda
Oh,
They're so
cutie.
cute.
A little cutie.
Let's see.
Did you ever see them have sex?
I would.
Pandas? They're ruthless.
Where do you go to get that sex shit?
Reddit. Let's see. What family are they in? What is that?
I don't know. Would it be the genus?
Yes.
Is that what we want?
Yeah. Oh, but why don't you just Google are raccoons related to bears, and it'll tell you no, they're related to this.
They are raccoons.
Yeah. Let's just see. Are raccoons related to bears?
Oh, they only live 2 to 3 years.
That's it?
Weird.
Probably rough tumble life out there eating out of garbage cans.
Yeah.
Raccoons and bears belong in the same clade of carnivorous mammals, but they are not small bears. Their physique is similar to that of a bear, and they are both predators, but the similarity is only due to their adaptation to a comparable way of life. I don't know why I struggle with comparable. But so they're in the same clade of carnivorous mammals. What's the closest relative to a raccoon? Click on that.
Red panda is considered to a distant cousin of
Distant
a North
cousin.
American
Ah, look at
raccoon.
that.
See what it says, what's the closest relative? Ring-tailed cats. Oh, I saw one of those the other day in Texas. They're cool looking,
Yeah.
man. I was running across the road. I'm like, wow, look at that. Animals are fucking cool, man. It's just cool. It's cool to be around them and see them and shit.
Except bunny
Avatar.
rabbits. I fucking hate bunny rabbits.
How's Avatar?
Fuck.
You said it was good.
Oh,
Yeah, good, great.
Why are all these people saying it's bad?
They
Yeah.
have bad taste and like weird stuff.
I
don't
have
know what
I
they
have a
like.
friend that works in Hollywood. He does CGI for like movies and stuff like that. And he got to see an early screening of it. And he said the audience he was with, everyone was bored out of their mind. People were walking out. He said he hated it. And I was like, what the fuck? And then another friend of mine has seen it twice. Like, and he's like, this is great. I don't know what to believe now.
Was your friend in Hollywood that hated it?
Yeah.
I think it might be one of those things where you're supposed to hate it.
Right.
There's some things you're supposed to hate,
Yeah.
you know?
I just want to see it. But it sucks. I have to go to the movie theater because I have to see the 3D on that one, right?
I don't think so. I don't think you have to.
Yeah, you do. Why would you not?
Remember how good the 3D was, though, last? You know,
That's
dope.
what half of it is. It's the
Yeah?
3D experience. Yeah, I mean, otherwise you're just watching stuff happen, and it's like the story is not good enough without 3D. Which is like the first one. It was, a pretty vanilla story.
I
It
love
had
the
a bunch
first
of cool
story, though.
shit to see.
I mean, it was definitely a derivative story, right? It was like Pocahontas, they
Yeah.
called it.
There's just multiple times in the movie I'm watching and I'm like, I can't believe all of this is fake. This is all CGI. None of this was real.
In the new one.
Yeah, just like they didn't go to a planet and film it in water. It's just
Right.
like this is all fake shit.
Now, did you see it in like 4D or any of the crazy
no,
stuff?
I saw that there's
XD?
like a MX 4D thing, and there is a 48 frames per second version, like a high speed. but
Ooh,
I don't
what?
know what makes that different. I don't know if they're even
probably
showing that
smoother.
in Austin.
Yeah.
In LA, I looked. You can definitely see that at multiple places in LA.
Wow.
Is they did film a lot of it underwater because they said Kate Winslet held her breath for 7 minutes.
Wow. How is that possible?
She's just really good at holding her breath.
Wow.
I think it's a mental thing. I think, my friend Remy Warren, he did this show a while back. It was called Apex Predator. And he would learn about all these different predators and what skill set they used to try to hunt their prey. And in one of them, they were doing octopuses or octopi, and they were doing some stuff in the water. And he had to try to hold his breath for as long as he could. And they taught him how to do it. And the first time he did it for like normal people, like 2 minutes. But there's these techniques that you can use, and like they'll let you know that this is like a panic response, and you don't really need to come up out of the water right now. And if you learn to stay calm, you can stay in the water far longer than you think you can.
Wow. That makes sense.
Avatar star Kate Winslet thought she died, breaking Tom Cruise's record.
What?
Yeah, and I think Sigourney Weaver did it too. And Sigourney Weaver is in her 70s. 7 minutes and 15 seconds.
Wow.
And Cruise's record was for Mission Impossible Rogue Nation was 6 minutes.
Wow. Try harder, Tom.
Wow. She had a video of her surfacing saying, "Am I dead? Have I died?" And then going, "What was my time?" She shared. She said, "I couldn't believe it."
That's awesome.
I wonder if you had a clock down there, you could do it longer.
Why did she have to do it, though? Just for the special effect of her, like, floating or something like
I
that?
don't think there's a special effect. I think there's a lot of times where they're filming stuff actually underwater. And the more time you could hold your breath, the more time you could be underwater. So she's doing this. So she's doing stuff where she's actually underwater. Wow.
That's cool.
But whatever her character she is, it doesn't look like Kate Winslet. I couldn't tell that was her. I had to look afterwards, like, holy shit, Kate Winslet.
Oh, really?
Interesting. I mean, I guess if you're really looking real hard, you can tell.
But is she like an Avatar creature?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's interesting. So they did with Sigourney Weaver.
This
when
is
they made
almost, watch out, spoiler alert, this isn't a spoiler. It's like all avatars. It's there's very few like humans in the movie.
But isn't the bad guy back? The fucking... How do they get him
Not
back?
talking about that.
Okay.
See the movie.
Is Fleshlight making a new Avatar Fleshlight? Remember the Avatar Fleshlight? That was my favorite.
That was so Avatar was 2009. And think about how much better the CGI has got. And Avatar 1 was fucking dope.
Yeah.
But how much better is the CGI now?
I want to see it. Maybe I'll see it this weekend, maybe.
You're going to have to just buckle up and go to the movies.
Did you go to IMAX?
Yeah, it wasn't technically an IMAX screen, but I've looked around Austin. There's not.
Right.
There is one I've seen, which is like on the Texas Campus Theater. It is like a legit, gigantic, huge, real IMAX screen. But the rest of them, it's tough.
Yeah, I lived next to one of those XD ones where the whole thing's moving and shit.
Oh,
I'll never do
shit.
that again.
Haptic feedback?
Yeah, after a while, it was so fucking annoying. You're just like, stop.
Right.
And then it's scary, too, because like if something like pops out, like the whole seat is going to go boom like that, and so you go, like it almost gives you a heart attack. Like you think you just got hit by something.
Imagine if you were doing that, but you were doing that for like some kind of fucking crazy racing movie, and the seats go side to side when you're doing it.
That's how it was. I saw that stupid Lightyear movie, and so during flying things and stuff like that.
What is Lightyear?
The Pixar movie, the one with Buzz Lightyear.
Oh. That's the one where they replaced Tim Allen because he believes in Jesus. Why they get rid of Tim Allen?
That is the weirdest thing that they did that.
Why did they do that? They did it because of his political beliefs?
I think they did it for the price,
Oh, clever, Brian.
Yeah.
Oh, you might be right.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? What a good way to force him out and get a little money on the budget.
Yeah, and it's not like, I mean, he played a younger version or a different version of him, like where Tim Allen played the toy of the character. And so that's why I think they also did it, because it's not supposed to be the same person.
Right.
So it's, it's just going to be like a version of that person. So,
Right.
that movie sucked.
Also with this Tim Allen thing, with this Morgan Freeman thing, rather, I wonder if they could do the Tim Allen thing with that. Like, they don't even need you anymore.
Oh, that's what I told you. They did that with Bruce Willis because he
Yeah.
lost the way to can't talk.
Right.
So they've deep faked him into at least one commercial so far.
Oh, yeah, he signed off all his lights and stuff.
That's crazy. He can't talk. Fuck. How do we fix Bruce Willis?
I know.
I used to love that dude from Moonlighting. I loved that show.
Oh, Moonlighting and Die Hard.
That was back in the day when you couldn't record things. You had to be there when it happened, whatever night it was on.
Yeah.
This is
Let me
not
hit.
Bruce
See this?
Willis.
This is not. Let's hit.
Whoa.
See what it says?
Mississippi.
Oh my God. It's an authorized deep fake, and this is in where? Russian? It's Russian.
This is Russian deep fake firm, yeah.
Wow. They've been doing that with Biden for the last 4 months.
People thought that Trump NFT thing was fake for 3 days.
Oh, my gosh.
No, he's really jacked like that. That's what he's built.
Have you watched that commercial yet?
Bro, how crazy is he? How crazy
That is
is
the
he?
funniest shit.
So, your favorite president, better than Washington, better than Lincoln. Play that because it's so ridiculous. And this was like a big announcement.
Yeah, it sold out.
And it's
It's sold out.
He's holding like the Statue of Liberty torch in one of the pictures.
That makes me so sad.
I
Those
think it's
Trumpers,
funny.
man, they fucking love him like he's the Dallas Cowboys. It's like they're just loyal to the team. It's like us against them. That's what they've, there's a certain type of person in this country that feels unrepresented,
That is so funny, though.
Here's the website. I'm trying to get to the official.
Wow, just look at whoever. Yeah,
Look at
man,
it. Fucking,
it's
he's
just
jacked.
ridiculous.
Play it.
I can't believe this is real.
It's real. Trump Tower's
Hello,
got...
everyone. This is Donald Trump. Hopefully your favorite president of all time, better than Lincoln, better than Washington, with an important announcement to make. I'm doing my first official Donald J. Trump NFT collection right here and right now. They're called Trump Digital Trading Cards. These cards feature some of the really incredible artwork pertaining to my life and my career. It's been very exciting. You can collect your Trump digital cards just like a baseball card, or other collectibles. Here's one of the best parts. Each card comes with an automatic chance to win amazing prizes like dinner with me. I don't know if that's an amazing prize, but it's what we have. Or golf with you and a group of your friends at one of my beautiful golf courses, and they are beautiful. I'm also doing Zoom calls, a one-on-one meeting, autographing memorabilia, and so much more. We're doing a lot. My official Trump digital trading cards are $99, which doesn't sound like very much for what you're getting. Buy one and you will join a very exclusive community. It's my community, and I think it's something you're going to like, and you're going to like it a lot. They also make perfect gifts. So you can buy them with your credit card or crypto. All you need is an email address. Go to collecttrumpcards.com.
Okay, I get it.
If you bought 45 of them, you got invited to dinner.
Just imagine saying that. You bought 45 of them. That's all it takes to go to dinner with them.
How much?
yeah.
That's
Or you just got to know
But
Kanye.
Max was 100 you could buy.
$45,000.
Yep. Or no,
No,
4,500.
Oh man, dinner?
Yeah.
I would have done that.
It was like a big dinner. It wasn't a personal dinner. It was a big like celebration.
Jesus.
I don't know.
Yeah, he's at a table behind a bulletproof glass.
Right.
I'm the best. Your favorite dinner guest of all time.
No, it's just like an Applebee's.
Said if you buy 45, you're guaranteed a ticket to dinner with the president.
Oh my God. You're guaranteed a ticket to dinner.
Oh my
with the
God! Can you look at
president.
the fine print? Does it say like you'll be with
What if you're
and
next con?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's a virtual dinner.
Yeah. It's a Zoom dinner. He's eating Kentucky Fried Chicken on his plane.
Right.
You know?
And I like how you're going to be in an exclusive club and they show like a helicopter. But meanwhile, you just have an email with a photo in it.
This is my helicopter. It's the best helicopter. No one's had a better helicopter. Better than Lincoln's. Lincoln didn't have a helicopter. Lincoln had a stupid fucking horse.
Why? Yeah. Why did he also say that? Better than Lincoln. Definitely better than Washington.
Listen, man, he's leaning all in. He's going full pro wrestling.
Half of me wants to see that happen again, but the other
It's
half-
going to happen.
You think?
Yes, unless they put him in jail, it's going to happen. And it looks like Biden's going to run against him. That's what they've been saying.
Doesn't say much.
It's crazy. When and where is this
Oh, it's-
Mar-a-Lago cocktail hour?
It doesn't say
The location will be at 1 hour. They fucking gun everyone in the room down. We will give you at least 30 days notice to plan your trip. All costs and expenses associated with live events made available to digital trading cards owners, including but not limited to all federal, state, and local taxes, air and ground transportation gratuities, airline luggage.
Black tie is optional.
Optional. You can wear a red tie.
It would be in South Florida for dinner.
South Florida.
It
We will
just says
give
they
you
can
at
be-
least 30 days notice to plan your trip. All costs and expenses associated with the live event, but not limited to. Oh, so they pay for everything. They fly you in. They pay for everything. You don't have to tip anybody. You get upgrades. Doesn't it say that?
All costs and expenses.
But not
associated
limited
with
to.
the event. Available to, but not limited to. All federal
Yeah. I think they pay all your taxes
are
on
the
it.
sole and exclusive responsibility of those that attend the gala.
Wait. Hold on. Travel expenses are the sole and exclusive responsibility of those that attend. Oh, so there's a miscellaneous. I confused the period in miscellaneous because they didn't say miscellaneous. They just said misc with a period at the end of it. Okay, let's read that again. It says all costs and expenses associated with the live event made available to digital trading card owners, including but not limited to all federal and state local taxes, air and ground transportation gratuities, airline luggage charges, incidentals, upgrades, insurance service charge, and other miscellaneous travel expenses are the sole and exclusive responsibility of those that attend the gala dinner. So it's the opposite of what I thought it was. It's everyone. You have to pay for everything.
Yeah.
You have to pay
get that.
taxes, you have to pay for your transportation, you have to pay for tips, airline, luggage, incidentals, upgrade, everything, insurance.
Zoom calls.
Okay. When is the Zoom call? How do we get involved? You know he's got regular size
Also 30
hands.
days notice.
Does he? Oh,
Yeah, shook his hand.
really?
He came to the UFC. He was behind us and came up to us, put his hand on my shoulder, and I looked up and it's fucking Donald Trump. And I
No
just pulled my head up
shit.
and I think this I said, "Nice to meet you." Shook his hand. Regular fucking hand.
Yeah.
And he put his hands on Daniel Cormier. He's like, "I would not want to fight this guy. Would not want to fight this guy." And Daniel's like, "Holy shit, it's 45."
45 and 47.
Look, I know he's a threat to democracy. There's a lot of threats, folks. There's a lot wrong here. It's not just that guy. But if you deny the humor of what that guy is, well, in laughing at him, you are opening the door to chaos. But it's still funny. You're not going to stop people from laughing at that. So you can't do that. You can't stop people from recognizing how fucking insane it is to have an actual former president be on TV selling like digital cartoons of himself saying they're the greatest. They're so inexpensive for what you get. I'm the best president, better than Lincoln. I'm your favorite.
Look how silly.
Look at these
this
things.
shit.
He's a hunter who's built like The Rock with a gun. These are crazy. These are so funny.
Superman.
Look at the Superman one. Super jacked. Imagine if he got a trainer and started getting jacked.
The art style looks awesome, by the way. It almost looks like AI, but it also looks like he just got a Fiverr. Like, you know, that website Fiverr? He just paid somebody $5 to make a...
It's perfect. It'll look good over the kitchen table. Everybody has to say their prayers and then look to Trump for guidance before every meal. Look at him, man.
See, sold out.
Imagine if he got jacked, though, and he started an Instagram page where he had his shirt off all the time. And he's, like, working out. You know? Just looking swole as fuck. What if The Rock turns Republican and starts training them? Things go so haywire that, you know, everybody's abandoning every party. No one knows what to do.
How old is he, though?
He's 1,000 years old.
Right.
But he's got access to, like, the best medicine. Mm-hmm. Be in a hyperbaric chamber 24 hours a day for a month. Come out looking like a baby.
You know who was also ridiculous? Rudy Giuliani. I saw a photo of him the other day, just like standing on a sidewalk looking at his phone. He's wearing these pants that look like hammer pants. They're super baggy, and in a suit that's a different color suit. Like his suit top was black, and this was like off blue. Like I don't think he even knows.
I respect it. Probably can't see anymore. I can't see anymore. My eyesight sucks. The other day when I was getting ready to go to the UFC, I couldn't figure out if my shirt was black or blue.
Really?
I had to like get it near the sunlight. I had to bring it near the window so I could look at it. I'm like, is that a dark blue or is it black? Because I know I have dark blue shirts. I don't want to be that idiot on TV with a dark blue shirt where on camera it looks dark blue, but in your fucking poorly lit closet, you can't tell if it's black or blue. Yeah, that's part of getting old, dude.
Yeah, my eyes are fucked.
That's why old people can fuck each other. They don't know what each other looks like. They're like Brad Pitt. They can't see faces.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, old people have sex, man.
I would want my girl to be fat if I was old, though.
Why?
Because then you'd be able to feel things better.
Right.
Like, oh, it's tits. Like an
Bones.
old, frail old lady.
Oh, yeah,
that
you
would
don't want that.
suck.
That would suck. Yeah, frail people scare you. When you hug them,
Yeah.
when you have a friend that's like real frail and you hug them, you're
Yeah.
like, how you doing, man? What's up? And you give them a hug, like, oh, no.
You just
you
crack
okay?
their knuckle.
You okay? Like,
Have
you're so frail.
you seen this new show coming out on TLC called MILF Manor?
Oh, shit, I'm in.
There's the trailer leaves a spoiler that they don't spoil, which I think you can imagine what it is going to be.
They bang each other.
They're all
It seems
guys.
like it's these 8 women get into a house and then these 8 college hunks show up is what it says, but I think the hunks are going to be their sons.
Oh, no.
That's what it sounds like.
Oh, so the sons bang the other moms?
Yeah. And then
What if they hook their sons up? Like, listen, this chick's a freak.
It's just it's all the women. They're like,
Where are they?
Like Mexico or something. You know, it doesn't show any of the guys' faces, so you can't tell off the trailer. But all the moms are just like, I just
So
want a
these
young man.
Horny ladies who are like in their 40s who know what they want,
Yep.
and these young dudes who have dick for days. Sounds like a party.
This show is so gross.
But that would be
dude.
crazy if you were there with your son. Your son was fucking this lady that you don't like,
Yeah.
but she's got big tits.
So they think that like, what are the boys going to do, or the sons when they go back and hang out, like talking about each other's moms?
Yeah, are they allowed to like swim? Like, what if the boys are friends? That would be even more fucked.
It seems like they're all hanging out together, like it's a real world house.
Too much,
But
Shane. I have an extremely high libido. Should I just have said a high libido?
She's ready. They're putting
God.
that scent out there.
Yeah.
She knows she's got like 5 more years of this party.
it looks like fun to see what happens if that's what it is. But I don't know what the other twist would be if it's not.
That would be weird.
Here's the thing. Try doing this with reverse sexes. Try doing this where there's a bunch of old divorced men in their 40s and you bring in these 19-year-old college girls. Everybody would be so angry. They'd be like, no fucking way. There's no fucking way. And then if the guys start fucking other guys' daughters, they would fight. They would beat the shit out of each other.
That sounds a million times better, dude.
But imagine, this is how weird the world is. You could never have that. You could never have, like...
Yeah, you could. You could.
Could
do that.
you?
Yeah.
What if the show's so popular, they're like, we have to do it
They're
the
gonna
other
have
way.
spin-off.
College freshman, 19 years old, and a bunch of guys in their 50s who are ripped.
No, not even. No, they're all like just like slobby, you know.
Yeah, but those girls are hot.
I know. But
That's part of the fun
true.
of it is the girls are hot. So
Yeah.
the guys are into those girls. Like those women are in their 40s, but they're all smoke shows. Like look at them. They're all banging bodies. They're all hot. Those guys get a couple of tequilas in them. Let's go. It's going to happen, right? You know that. And if those girls have extremely high libido, big old double D science created mama jammas popping out of their fucking shirt, and they're touching that guy's leg, and he's 19. He's in a trance. He doesn't know what's going on. Next thing you know, his dick is hard as a crowbar, and it's time to go with this old lady. Let's go. But if you had that the opposite way, if you had a bunch of guys in their 50s that just like take testosterone, they're all ripped, they're all fucking doing CrossFit every day and shit, and they have a lot of money and big watches and shit, and they're like, I got an extremely high libido. And then these girls come in, they're like all innocent and giggly, and they're cute. Their little butts are hanging out when they're jumping in the pool. We'd be like, what kind of fucking show is this? This show's bullshit.
Pornhub?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait a second. Why were all those women
Everything
white?
on Pornhub.
Yes, it's everything on Pornhub. No, you know what I see more of now than anything is what I call karma-free porn. Here's karma-free porn. Stepmom porn, where you don't feel bad about anybody involved. Where the woman is like 45 years old but still really hot, and then
That's what this is. It's almost what this is.
sort of, but what I'm saying is the woman's really hot, and it's the son is home for like spring break or something like that, and dad ignores the hot lady and is just working all the time. And then she's hot as fuck, but she's a freak. And then next thing you know, he's giving her a massage, and bow, chicka, bow, bow. That's karma free. You don't feel bad for the woman 'cause she wants it, and she seduces the guy. Like she seduces the college kid into doing it. And then you don't feel bad about the dad because fuck that old rich asshole with this wife that he shouldn't have. Like it's always like some geriatric man. Well, don't you fuck my son when I'm at work. It's like, I wouldn't. I love you, baby. And then as soon as he leaves, she just can't wait. Oh my God, my neck is killing me. Would you please rub my neck? He's like, oh, I don't know if my dad would be cool with that. That's karma-free porn.
That's hilarious.
You don't feel bad about anybody involved, you know? Because there was a time where I couldn't watch porn. There was a time where porn got really, like, gaggy, really, like, where girls were crying a lot, like tears run down their eyes while they're, oh, I'm out.
Yeah.
That looks crazy. I'm not interested in that. You know, remember that guy, Max Hardcore? He got arrested for obscenity. Like, his porn was so fucked up, they put him in jail. Which is like, woo, like who gets to decide that? Like obscenity is like, that's one of those things, like I know it when I see it. I can't describe it, but I know it when I see it. Like what did they charged him in Florida, find out what that is, but he did horrible shit in those films.
Yeah.
Like it was like, I don't even want to describe it, but like pissing in girls' assholes and just
grabbing their heads real
just
hard.
Horrible
Just-
shit.
Yeah.
But it was like they all agreed to it. They knew they were going to do it when they signed up. They knew what he did. But even so, you're like, who wants that? Like, why are you even into that? The stepmom thing makes sense to me. You know, I got to go to the gym. I can't really give you a massage. Please, my back hurts so much. And your father is just, he doesn't want. He's always so tired when he comes home from the bank. It's karma-free porn.
He got arrested. He got, let's see, charged back in 1998. Trial 2002. This says he got arrested again in 2005.
I think didn't he die? I think he died, right?
I do not know. He did time, though.
He did time. I'm trying to see. Oh, there it goes. Found guilty on all charges and sentenced to 46 months in prison.
What were the charges?
5 counts of transporting obscene matter by the use of interactive computer service and 5 counts of mailing obscene matter relating to 5 movies showing fisting, urination, and vomiting.
Ooh. Fisting. Good old fisting. You don't see a good fisting video anymore.
The old days. I think people just decided it's not fun.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing? I think, it's like one of those things, like the tide comes in, the tide goes out. Things get too crazy, like, let's pull this back a little bit. No more fisting. But I'm sure there's fisting videos. They're just not out everywhere.
Yeah. It used to be a lot of that in, like, Japanese women putting octopuses in their pussy and stuff.
I think that's still around.
You think that's still around? I haven't seen
There's
that
a lot
in
of
while.
anime like that.
Yeah.
A lot of it was just, there was some real girls stuffing squids up there, but there was a lot of it was like giant muscular octopuses with dicks at the end of their tentacles, and they were banging all these girls, and the girls were in ecstasy. Mm-hmm. It was very creepy. Like, imagine that's your thing. God, I wish I was an octopus. Find some lady skinny dipping. Come here.
How do they stop that from being an AI thing? Do you have to make it age-gated stuff? Like, you have to pay to be able to get into that, like, octopus porn tentacle stuff. I want to see all of this stuff. Or, because, like, you can't just have it available for everyone, like, right out of the gate.
It's like,
Break
what?
kids' brains.
Well, if something's illegal to do for real, I mean, we do that with murder. Like, you can watch CGI murder in a movie where people get shot and killed. It's special effects. It's totally illegal to murder somebody, but you can murder someone in a movie. But but illegal sexual stuff?
No.
Yeah, because, like, if you started doing AI kid porn,
Right.
there's no fucking way. You could never do that.
It's tough to make that fake, I guess.
Is it? Well, we just saw this Morgan Freeman thing.
Well,
Like,
it says,
what can they
yeah,
do now? They might be able to do that.
I guess, yeah.
Totally. I think they could probably make almost anything now if they can make Avatar. They can make almost anything look real. Mm-hmm. There was something that I read. It was an article. I only read the headline. They were talking about creating sex robots that are, like, young for pedophiles to keep them from actually trying to molest kids.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah. That's a real thing.
That's kind of the same thing we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
It's
But
like-
if it helps and it's not a real thing.
Right. It's one of those things, man. It's like, it's very messy. Like, how if someone has that urge and doesn't do anything about it ever because their morals and their ethics prevent them from doing it. Like, what is that thing? Like, what is that urge? That's a fucked up part of. It's not like it's only on one person, right? That urge exists on multiple people. People get arrested for it all the time. It's a horrible urge. But, like, where's that coming from? And could that possibly be inside a person who never acts on it?
You get molested, then you become the molester. So
It happens in some people that way, right?
Yeah. I think that's the majority of it, right?
Ooh, it's fucking horrible.
I'm not going to put this on the screen, but reminded me of this art from the Balenciaga situation a couple weeks ago. I told you about this, but
Oh,
this is a mannequin that someone, I don't know who owns it. This says the CEO of Balenciaga's parent company owns this art. But I just Googled the art.
But wasn't it was the CGI of the parent company that owns it? Like,
CEO.
CEO owns it. Like, at his house?
That's what this says.
Fuckface.
Owns site that sells child sex mannequins. Blah,
With
blah,
erect
blah.
penises on their. What?
What the hell?
Jesus
looked up
Christ.
the art
Wait a
from
minute. Why is that guy taking a photo with what's her face?
Salma
Hayek.
I think they're married.
They're married?
What? What?
Let me check.
Whoa.
That's insane.
Is that real? Oh my God. That's a different guy.
Yeah.
That's a different guy.
French businessman.
Is it a different
Right.
guy? Or is it the same guy? That's the same guy. Whoa.
What the
Yeah, he
hell?
owns Gucci, CEO,
Whoa.
French luxury group.
Now, those are for sale somewhere?
So that's what this says. Is that they run the site. That
What is the
sells
website
them.
that's saying this? Is this a legitimate website?
This was like one of those like TikTok stories that came out, but you look the stuff up, and some of it is accurate. It's like, here's Newsweek. Who were the artists dragged into this discussion?
And so the artists, are those digital images, or is that like a physical
No, so,
object?
like, the first thing it says is that this is an actual object. This is being sold at Christie's.
What?
This is Christie's.com.
What?
How much?
Wait a minute. This is for sale on Christie's in
I'm on
the auction?
Christie's.com. Yeah, I'm not even in a deep, weird website now.
Is this from 1966?
closed 2010 is when it was sold.
That was when it was sold. But this object was created in 1966.
I think so.
What the fuck, man?
Or the artists were born then, is what that means, I think. Yeah,
Really?
executed in 1994. Yeah, I think that means when the artists were born.
Okay, so it was made in 1994. What the fuck, man?
Exhibited in 2006.
So that they call that art.
And then it was sold for $115,000 or pounds.
If you're not looking at this,
Yeah,
you
I'm
probably
not
don't.
showing it at all,
Good.
so.
You don't want to. You really don't want to look at this. It's a little boy with his mouth is not a mouth anymore. It's like a fuckhole, and he has a penis, an erect penis for a nose, and it's titled "fuck face."
And he doesn't have pants on.
He doesn't have pants on, and he's a tiny little baby. He's like 2 or 3 years old.
It's like a real weird art. Other art is not as bad or strange as that, but it's very weird stuff.
Like this guy with a dick for a nose.
Decapitated head.
Yeah, but that's good.
Wow.
That's all you need. Keep the dick hard.
What is this one?
All of it's so crazy. Like who would want to do that? Who would want to make a decapitated head with a dick for a nose? Like that's what I'm on.
Show up to someone's house and that's there. It's like, yeah.
Well, if they get to a point where they can genetically engineer life forms that really didn't exist before, how long before someone makes that? Make some guy with a nose that's a dick, and his mouth is right where your butthole is, and you just ride his face.
Yeah, even as art, I can't even understand what the artist was thinking in that. Like usually
Right.
you could be like, oh, I see what the artist was saying. He was saying something,
Yeah, what are you saying when
That-
you have a
yeah.
little baby with no pants on, with a fuckhole for a mouth and a penis for a nose? There's some fucked up people out there. The thing is, like, what is that?
It's weird.
So it's a blow up doll having sex with another blow up doll?
That's what's happening in front. Like they're showing it to kids.
Oh boy,
Yeah.
they're showing that to kids.
Yeah. At least that's what it looks like. Maybe that's part of the art. I don't know.
People have always been fucked. I don't mean like physically have like someone fucked them. I mean people are fucked up. They've always been fucked up, and that kind of fucked up. There's always been like, and this is a thing because if you bring up like elite people that are molesting children. People are like, oh my God, you're tinfoil hat, you're gone, you're off into conspiracy land. Because for most people, they don't experience that. You have no reference point. That sounds crazy. That's not real. But if you go to one of those wacky ass parties in Hollywood, you're like, oh my God, these places are real. Like there's probably a version of that for like elite pedophiles. They have to exist. They've always existed in the past. Maybe they exist in other countries. Maybe there's only a couple of them. Maybe there's a network of them, though, because it seems like they have exposed networks of people doing stuff like that in the past. We just don't want to admit it because it's so horrific, so we don't want to look at it. And you don't want to say it out loud, because if you say it out loud, all of a sudden you're a kook and you're a conspiracy theorist. But what if it is actually happening? And your inability to even entertain the thought that it could be possibly happening, and this is sort of like a groupthink thing that happens with all of us. We don't even want to entertain it. And because we don't want to entertain it, it doesn't get brought up. It's not like a thing that's like at the forefront of everybody's conversation until something like this Balenciaga thing happens. And you hear a bunch of different versions of it. Like, who did what? What happened? Well, I heard it was just a designer. Or I heard it was just a publicist that did that. And it was just, she had some wacky shit on her site, but it had nothing to do with the company. Like, and then there's...
Did you see this video? It says great granddaughter of Guccio Gucci. I think she's like the heiress to
Is that his
Gucci.
name? Guccio?
That's what it says.
What a great name.
She's making a bunch of claims that her family members made her do a bunch of stuff.
What kind of stuff? Sexual stuff?
Yeah.
Oh.
Sexual abuse.
Oh.
Suffered at the hands of her stepfather, and no one did anything about it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Stepfather porn.
Very dark.
I don't like stepfather porn. I don't like that stuff. I like stepmom only.
Stepmom porn.
I like that 45-year-old lady who lifts weights. Big old tatas. Letting everybody know she's ready to rock.
I have a very high libido.
wearing her leopard print.
Very different from the Gigolo show that was very popular, right? 'Cause those guys are being paid.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
a whole different thing.
Yeah, if you had Hooker Island, no one, people are like, turn that off. You can't have, those poor girls are sex trafficked. But if you have Gigolo Island, where a bunch of old ladies with cash go to get dick down, everybody would be like, fuck yeah, girl, you get yours. You know, like Chippendales guys, if Chippendales guys run a train on some lady and that's what she wants and she's fucking all happy, no one's upset. She pays them. Thank you. No one's mad at that. She's like, how do I get some of that dick? He's like, you fucking give me a bag of money, you get this dick. Everybody be like, sounds like they made a deal. Sounds like they made a solid deal. It's interesting, like what society decides is okay and is not okay too. Like there was all these songs back when we were kids. Like Kiss had a song called Christine 16. Remember that?
Yeah.
About a 16-year-old. It's like, I got to have her. I've got to have you. Remember that song? Play that song. Play Christine 16.
And what's that other song? She was only 7.
Yeah, but she was sexy. That's Rick James.
Yeah.
She was only 17.
Yeah.
17, but she was sexy. Yeah. I mean,
And there's another
different world. Different world back then.
Yeah. There was one that was like, I
Didn't
swear to
Winger
you-
have a song called 17? She's only 17. Remember that?
What's the one you want me to play?
I forgot.
16?
Christine 16. Christine 16 was like, I definitely wasn't 16 when this came out. I was a kid, and we used to sing this song. Like, I was a giant Kiss fan when I was like 11, 12 years old. Yeah, this is the song. So this is from Love Gun. From what year is this? I want to say like 70. Dun, dun. Dude, when I was a kid, when we were in high school, this song was the shit. You didn't think about it as like a statutory rape song.
Right.
She's got me dancing. She's got me in her hands. And there's no use in pretending. You don't have to pretend. She's 16. Christine, 16. That's crazy. This was not that long ago. Keep it going. Look at the way they're dressed, too. She drives me crazy. I want to give her. All I've got.
Isn't it
Every day and night.
Isn't it crazy they played Vulcan?
Yeah. Just a couple weeks ago. I was bummed out that I wasn't in town. I would have loved to see that. Nick sent me a video. Looked incredible. Listen to this. I saw you walking out of school that day. I saw you walking out of school that day. Now imagine how many girls in high school. Keep going, Jamie. What are you doing? You mean how many girls in high school? Are we in trouble? Do we have to play?
No, I mean,
it's fun to listen to. Probably. I think Spotify plays Kiss.
yeah, that's not good, but
Come on.
Do you know a band called Love Hate?
Can't live without her. Wow, no. It's crazy. What year was that?
70s.
I'm looking at a list of songs. I'm hoping it shows up.
I bet it was about 76. If I had to guess.
I say 77, something like that.
What are you saying? Do I know?
77.
77. What band?
Do you know a band called Love Hate?
No.
They have a song called Rock Queen, and one of the lyrics was, met a little girl just 13. She's a knockdown, blue-eyed slut, psycho virgin tease.
Jesus Christ. What year was that from?
I'd say like 70s.
Last week?
Let's Get It On by Marvin Gaye.
But that wasn't about someone, was it?
He's talking about a 17-year-old girl.
But
Does he say it in the song?
He says, problem is she was 17. He's twice her age. There's nothing wrong with me loving you, baby, no, and giving yourself
boy.
to me.
Can never be wrong if the love is true. Oh, boy.
He doesn't say anything. How do they know this? Hold on.
Oh, no. That's not the lyrics. Okay, here it is. I like to think I'm good for a surprise or two when it comes to these playlists. Let's get it on. Is that surprise? Let me explain. Yes, I get that you sing along with this when you hear it on commercials. during the old school lunch breaks and at grown and sexy social scenes, but Marvin was up to no good when he wrote it. When he recorded it, he was dating Janice Hunter. Okay, he was dating a girl. Janice was 17. Okay, but how do you know that? So they're not saying that he wrote that song about her.
I read it so quickly, I thought that's what I was seeing with all this.
Let me tell you something. I doubt he was only dating Janice. You know, let's be realistic. He was Marvin motherfucking Gaye. You know, and back then that guy was the man. He probably had to fight them off. I mean, women are probably showing up at his house every day. He would sing about fucking. Let's get it on.
Yeah, it's okay. He died in Hollywood, right?
His
dad
father
shot
killed him. Yeah, he had a jealous father.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Girl, you'll be a woman soon.
Ooh, that's another one.
You need a man.
Is that Roy Orbison?
No. Roy Orbison had Pretty Woman.
It's Neil Diamond.
Is it?
Yeah.
Wow.
They didn't sing that version, though, in Pulp Fiction. He didn't. Urge Overkill did.
What was the other song that we were just talking about? Marvin Gaye.
Yeah.
Let's Get It On. Play that. Give me some of that. That song's fucking amazing. I remember reading. I dated this girl. Want to hear this? This is crazy. I was really into Marvin Gaye for a while when I was like 21, and I was dating this girl and she was 25. And then I read that Marvin Gaye's dad killed him. And I was like, fuck. And she goes, do you know how much of a horrible person he must have been that his dad killed him?
Wow, yeah.
And I was like, what? But see, this woman that I was dating had a great relationship with her dad. Her dad was a great guy. She loved her dad. So she would never associate a father with being someone who would abuse you. I grew up without my dad. So for me, I was like, no, his dad was probably an asshole. His dad was probably jealous. His dad was probably just some terrible... There's terrible people that fuck people and have kids. Murderers, monsters, thieves, con artists. They fuck people and have kids, and then they have a son. I saw a video today of a boxing match between a father and a son. It made me so sad. It made me so sad. Because there's this young kid. He looks like he's probably like 17 or 18, and the father's 42. And the father beats the shit out of him. I mean, like, dings him in the head and keeps punching him. I'm like, that's your son. That's your son. And we're watching you beat your son up. Because I get your son probably got cocky with you, and he celebrates after he knocks his son out. It made me so sad. Because first of all, I'm like, that kid has brain damage now, 100%. Maybe it's just a little. Maybe he'll be fine. Maybe he'll get over it. But maybe you fucked him up. That can happen too. He might be depressed from now on after that. It might fuck up his pituitary gland. It happens to people. And you just did that to your son. You're supposed to like touch him up. You're supposed to not even hurt him. Like slam him in the body a little bit. Like, you think he can fight? Okay, dude. Okay, let's have a little boxing match. You don't tee off on your son's face on television. It's crazy.
How old was the kid?
Kid looks young. To me, he looks like, he could be 20. He could be 19. He looks young. He's real skinny. And the father's kind of jacked. Not too jacked, but, he's fit. And he could fucking punch. He knows how to box. And the son doesn't look like he has any idea what the fuck he's doing. I don't know what the thing was. Like, someone sent it to me. And they were, like, cheering that this old guy knocked his son out. I was like, you guys are crazy.
Wow.
That you failed. You failed as a man. Yeah, this is it.
That's not exactly what was happening.
It's not? What is it?
They're not father-son.
Oh, why does it lie?
Because
it says father knocks out son in celebrity boxing match.
Gotta get somebody to click on this.
Oh.
This was like a YouTuber thing. This guy's a YouTuber, and he's a YouTuber.
I'm such a sucker. They got me.
I hate that
Okay,
shit.
now I'm not sad anymore. So now I'm like, fuck yeah, old guy who fucked up that young punk who's talking shit about him. If that was your son, if that was actually his son, that would be the saddest shit of all time. Because if you're a guy and you could box like that, you could punch like that, you've been boxing, right? So you know that people that have brain damage, you know the consequences of getting punched in the face. But if it's just some cocky kid who wants to box with some dude, I'm all in.
YouTuber.
So now I'm in. Isn't that interesting? Just all about the relationship the two people have with each other. I want love whenever possible. But sometimes people talk shit. and they need to get cracked.
See, here's the guy walking out. He's ready to roll.
Yeah, look at him with the tie.
Oh God.
He's 42. You know he's on testosterone. Look at him. But the thing is, it's like he actually knows how to box a little bit. Like this guy knows he's in trouble. You could tell. Like from the very beginning, he looks nervous as fuck. And that other dude looks super confident.
That's how a lot of these have gone.
Look at this. It says daddy on his chest. I guess that's probably a joke because it doesn't look like a real tattoo.
I think that guy's
Why don't you give us the full screen so we can see
Dad
it?
Feels is the guy's name.
That's his name?
Yeah.
This is like his Twitch account.
So these are Twitch guys?
YouTuber. This is on his account.
They
It's
call them
dad.
creators. So like,
I like how he goes full bald too. Bald spot, goofy hair in the front.
Yeah.
Just looks stupid when you beat his ass. Look at him dancing around. I like it. Look how confident he is. But then once the fight starts, you realize why he's confident because he actually knows how to box.
Just look at the body difference. Dude's way more jacked also. Oh.
Look at that.
Oh. Yes.
He can actually punch a little bit. I mean, he definitely doesn't look like a serious boxer, but he's throwing some fucking haymakers and he's landing them. And he's digging to the body, like right there.
That was great. Oh.
stop the fight. Stop
Yeah.
the fight.
Stop it. Stop.
Yeah. I mean, he got fucked up. That other dude had no business being in there. Now I understand why he's so happy.
That was awesome.
Okay, now it's better. Isn't it funny how just a little bit of information, now you know more.
Yeah.
Now you know more about the situation. You're like, oh, I'm all in.
Yeah, looking at that and thinking that was a real father-son, that would have freaked me out.
It made me sad. I thought it was a real father-son. These fucking titles should be illegal. What is YouTube doing to stop misinformation?
What is YouTube doing?
What are you doing to stop misinformation? That's real misinformation, YouTube. But that's how we clicked on it. If it was like 42-year-old guy beats up young guy, I'm not interested. My favorite is this old boxer, and he looks like he's like fucking 65, and he's got a sweater on, and he beats the shit out of this young jack guy. Like they start boxing, and all of a sudden this guy starts bobbing his head. You're like, oh my God, this old guy can fight. Watch this. Have you ever seen this one?
No.
So look at the young guy, jacked. Heartthrob, man bun. Look, he's got a man bun, right?
Wow.
So he's smiling. He thinks this is funny. Look at hey,
Wow.
okay, you want to box? All right, bro. So he touches gloves to this guy. Look at the guy with a sweater on.
It's like,
But watch this. The guy starts punching himself in the face and moving forward. Look at this. Look at him, head movement. The guy should be nervous right now.
right. Oh, wow.
Look at this old guy beats the brakes off this kid.
Oh,
drops him with a
awesome.
fucking left haymaker.
Oh.
Look at this.
Oh my God. Holy shit.
Yeah. And then he's like, hey, fine. He puts his hands up. He had enough.
It's like Rocky's coach.
Yeah. What is he saying? What language is it? Let me hear him talk again. Back it up a little because he's talking to those guys.
Can't. It's a short.
Oh, they're Italian. Is it? They're Italian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get in there, Rocky.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of old men in Italy that'll punch you in the face. Be careful.
That's awesome.
But that's better, right? That one's even better. Because that way the guy's older, so he's an actual grown, full man. He looks like he's in his 30s. He's jacked. He's not a little kid, and the old guy's a beast. Just seeing him like this and then start bobbing and weaving, you're like, oh, no.
That's so great.
Oh, no.
I want more of that.
If you don't know how to box and you're like, oh, and you see that guy doing that, that's a fucking terrible place to be.
And the fact that he had a man bun, too, really helped.
It helps a lot. And he's jacked, and he's got a sleeveless shirt on. It's showing the guns. He gets lit up.
You guys are really hitting on man buns.
Yeah.
Fuck. Oh,
I've been
do you
trying
do
to
that?
get you to shave your head for years, son.
You don't do the man bun
He
thing, do you?
does, like a samurai.
Well, you don't do it on. That's a ponytail.
It's the same. Oh, I don't do that messy bun all tied up on
Yeah.
top. Yeah.
That's
That's a bun.
That's a strange thing. That's either you're a samurai or you're a male feminist. One of the two. The first guy I ever saw have that though, it was pretty cool. It was Hicks and Gracie. Hicks and Gracie did it because he was into samurais. Like he grew his hair out long and he had it back there like a fucking samurai.
Okay.
Back when he was the man. There's a video. See if you find Hicks and Gracie. Yeah, look.
Yeah.
So he had a man bun, but this is when he was. Is that Crone? That's Crone. That's his son. That's his son there too. But Hickson had that way back in the day.
That's cool.
See if you can find the images of Hickson back. Hickson back in the day was a goddamn heartthrob. Look at him there doing yoga. Look at that.
Yeah.
Imagine that guy likes your lady. You got real problems, son. Look how beautiful he was. No disrespect, Mr. Gracie. just complimentary. He was the greatest of all time. In his day, no one came close. They always, if you ask any jiu-jitsu black belt who's the best, they all said Rickson. Now they all say Gordon Ryan, which is true of today, but Gordon Ryan is like the modern version of Rickson, where everybody just says he's the best. There's nobody like either one of those guys. There's nobody like Rickson, and there's nobody like Gordon, where everybody says that's the best.
Who was the guy that you had on your show, and I was there, and he was like a master, kind of like an older guy, and he was putting me in chokeholds and stuff.
Gene LaBelle.
Yeah, that dude.
Judo Gene LaBelle. He passed away.
Yeah, I know.
Rest in peace. He was the best.
Yeah.
He was the best. He was such a funny guy, and he was one of the first guys that ever invented or entered into a mixed fight. A fight with a karate guy. No, he fought a boxer. I think he did several of them, but there's a video of him. He's wearing his judo gi, and he fights a boxer. And just smothers this boxer and strangles him. But it was one of the first times that you'd ever seen a mixed martial arts fight. So he was one of the first mixed combat sports athletes. And so he has this fight with a guy, and he wears the judo gi. And just he was a legitimate national champion in judo. Gene LaBelle was the fucking man. So this is like 63. And he made the boxer wear a judo gi, which is hilarious. But it looks like the boxer has little tiny gloves on, too. It looks like he's got kind of MMA gloves. Milo Savage, that's the guy he fought. And the guy was a serious boxer, too. You could tell just by, don't go too far.
I didn't do anything.
It just did that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cheap. So it just shows Gene on top of him. It doesn't show the takedown in this particular video that we're watching. But Gene cornered him. He cornered him and grabbed him and got a hold of him. But like you see the way this guy boxes, like he's got some serious punches. You can tell even by the way he's moving. Like that's a real boxer. But he made him wear that fucking gi, man. And if you make him wear that kimono top, even if the guy is trying to punch Gene LaBelle, Gene is never letting go of that top. And he drags him to the ground, gets on top of him. I think he choked him unconscious with his own gi. I think that's what he did. I don't really totally remember. But look how good the guy keeps getting up, man. He got up a couple of times. So Milo Savage was a bad man. It wasn't like he was fighting some chump. He was just fighting a guy who so it doesn't show it, huh? So it looks to me like he got him in an Ezekiel choke, which is a choke where you use the collar of your shirt. It looks like that's what he's doing. No, right here he's just pinning him. So there's the choke. So okay, I'm looking at it right now. Hard to say. Probably some kind of a gi choke. Some type of gi choke. There's like Ezekiel is you grab your collar like this here. You grab your own collar, and then you put this across the person's face, across their neck rather, and you strangle them with the gi. So maybe he did that, but he was one of the first, and he was a stunt man, and he was the guy that allegedly choked out Steven Seagal on the set.
That's right.
Made him go to the bathroom.
That's right.
He explained it on the podcast. It was a hilarious explanation.
That was a good podcast.
He's the best.
He almost killed me.
He also is a guy that taught Bruce Lee. He when Bruce Lee met him, he really didn't understand grappling like that kind of super high level judo. And I think in that movie, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the Brad Pitt character is supposed to represent in some way, shape, or form a guy like Gene LaBelle. A guy who was like a real bad motherfucker who was working with Bruce Lee on a movie set. But in reality, they collaborated. In reality, like Gene LaBelle taught him some judo, but he did pick him up at one point in time and like carry him around, just trying to let him know, like, hey, buddy, in the real world, I'm fucking Gene LaBelle and you weigh 135 pounds.
Yeah.
But he taught him stuff. That's why I believe it's Game of Death, the one when they're fighting. I think it's Game of Death. He catches this guy that he's fighting with in an armbar. It was like one of the first times, and it was when he was wearing those Jeet Kune Do gloves, which look a lot like modern MMA gloves. They were like a little bit more puffy, but that was like the first version of an MMA glove. And he wins this fight with grappling, which I guarantee Gene LaBelle had an influence on that. Because Bruce Lee was so fucking smart, man.
I said it was Enter the Dragon.
Enter the Dragon, that's right, sorry. See those gloves? Look at those gloves. So he's fighting this guy, cracks him, ducks under the kick, takes him down. Throws him to the ground. I mean, you got to understand that back then, you might look at this today and see this kind of silly. Back then, this was the shit. Because Bruce Lee was, look at that kick. He was a legit martial artist, like really good, and also a giant movie star, and also a guy who is open-minded enough to incorporate all the arts into what he called Jeet Kune Do. So he was like the first guy that figured out, look, he's throwing fucking takedowns and Aikido and Judo and everything. He threw it all in together. He's throwing this guy to the ground. He gets him in a fucking crucifix from the back and gets him in an arm bar and makes the dude tap. He's tapping. First time we ever see a tap.
That's true.
It's here in Enter the Dragon. And then they bow afterwards. This is literally like an example for everybody to see of the first mixed martial arts fight. And it was Bruce Lee. Because Bruce Lee, that back then, even when I was training in Taekwondo, when I would go to Muay Thai gyms, my instructor did not like it. They did not like it. When I would go to boxing gyms, they're like, you can learn that here. Everybody wanted you to just learn Taekwondo. They opened their mind up to it a little bit at certain points in time. Like certain students that we had that also boxed, I could go train with them in other places. But when I started kickboxing, it was a giant wake-up call because I realized, like, wow, there's stuff that's better than Taekwondo for, like, an overall. Taekwondo is the best for, like, wild kicks, like side kicks and front kicks and wheel kicks and turning back kicks and shit like that. But boxing is way better for your hands. Like, those guys are way better at it. And then you get kicked in the legs and you're like, oh, boy, I need to learn that. How do you kick? Well, there's an art to that. And then you learn takedowns. And you're like, oh, Jesus, I'm helpless when I'm on my back. Oh, Jesus. You learn jiu-jitsu. You're like, oh, I thought I was a badass. I'm just a victim. Someone could just maul you. But Bruce Lee, he opened that door for everybody. Because back then, especially before the UFC, martial arts were very, like, everybody stayed in their tribe. The judo guys thought judo was the best. The kickboxer guys thought kickboxing was the best. Like, everybody had their own mindset on what style was the best. Bruce Lee started it all off, bro. Yeah. And Judo Gene LaBelle was the guy that taught him grappling. Look at that. He's got a head and arm choke, sort of.
I like the faces he always
kind of, yeah, this is kind of a head and arm choke. Yeah. Is that with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? Look at this. This dude has got him in an arm bar. And what movie was that?
Huh.
Interesting. He's got his thumb the wrong way.
What is it? Bruce Lee orders cocaine?
Robert Baker. Oh, he sidekicks him in the face, then he pulls his hair and fucking karate chops him in the neck for the death. Whoosh. Crazy. Back then, man, everybody wanted to learn karate. When they saw that Bruce Lee movie, everybody wanted to learn kung fu. Dudes started walking around with kung fu outfits on. Guys would go to school with kung fu outfits on back then.
He also probably helped out the Asian community a
Steve
lot.
Aoki told me that.
Yeah?
Yeah, Steve Aoki said when he was a kid, like, he was like, finally, there's an Asian hero.
Right.
Who was like the baddest motherfucker on earth was an Asian. It was nice.
It's still considered one of the baddest motherfuckers.
Still to this day.
Did you see Steve Aoki got picked for?
What?
He's going to the moon.
Oh, he is? Fuck that.
Not going to land on it, but they're going to orbit it.
Bro, they're going to put him in a
back.
VR chamber. You're on the moon.
Speaking of that, they've just released all those documents, JFK documents. Anything come out of that?
Did something come out of
that?
it? Oh,
Tucker
one
talked
thing
to
that come
someone.
out was they were saying that Lee Harvey Oswald was a Russian asset and that he had been honeypotted by his wife. And he lived in Russia in the 1950s. And they think that in this, I think what Russia's trying to say in this is that they were responsible for making Lee Harvey Oswald try to kill the president. There was so much shit going on with that story. For anybody that thinks in 2022 that you know what happened in 1963, you're crazy. What does it say? What does Tucker Carlson say? What does he say?
They spoke with someone who.
Well, let's play it so we can hear his voice.
7 minutes long. It's long.
Oh.
I don't think we can play
Just
it.
let me hear a little bit of it.
He's setting it up.
Murders the president of the United States, and
That's
then,
good.
less than 48 hours later, that lone gunman is himself murdered by another lone gunman. What are the odds of that? It's one thing if you get struck by lightning, rare but possible. But if every member of your family also gets struck by lightning all on different days, you might begin to suspect these are not entirely natural events. But oh, replied the US government, they are. This bizarre chain of killings was all entirely natural. So less than a year after the JFK assassination, the Johnson White House released something called the Warren Commission Report. And the report concluded that while their motives remained unclear, both Lee Oswald and Jack Ruby had acted alone. No one helped them. There was no conspiracy of any kind. Case closed. Time to move on. And many Americans did move on. At the time, they had no idea how shoddy and corrupt the Warren Commission was. It would be nearly 50 years before the CIA admitted under duress that, in fact, it had withheld information from investigators about its relationship with Lee Harvey Oswald. But even then, at the time, before that was known, the government's explanation didn't seem entirely plausible, and some people started asking obvious questions about it. It was at that point, as Americans started to doubt the official story, that the term conspiracy theory entered our lexicon. As Professor Lance DeHaven Smith points out in his book on the subject, the term conspiracy theory did not exist as a phrase in everyday American conversation before 1964. In 1964, the year the Warren Commission issued its report, the New York Times published 5 stories in which conspiracy theory appeared. Now, today, of course, the term conspiracy theory appears in pretty much every New York Times story about American politics. It's wielded, now as then, as a weapon against anyone who asks questions the government doesn't feel like answering. But despite 60 years of name-calling, those questions have not disappeared. In fact, they have multiplied with time. And here's one of them. In April of 1964, a psychiatrist called Louis Joylin West visited Jack Ruby in his isolation cell in the Dallas jail. According to West's written assessment, he found that Jack Ruby was, quote, technically insane and in need of immediate psychiatric hospitalization. Those are conclusions that, puzzlingly, no one who had spoken to Jack Ruby previously had reached. Ruby had seemed perfectly sane to the people who knew him. Louis Joylin West pronounced him crazy. But what West did not say was that he was working for the CIA at the time. Louis Joylin West was a contract psychiatrist for the spy agency. He was also an expert on mind control and a prominent player in the now infamous MK-Ultra program, in which the CIA gave powerful psychiatric drugs to Americans without their knowledge. So of all the psychiatrists in the world, what in the world was this guy doing in Jack Ruby's prison cell? The media did not seem interested in finding out. In fact, the New York Times, in an extensive 1999 obituary of West, never mentioned the fact that he had worked for the CIA, much less his time in Jack Ruby's cell, which seems relevant. So you can see why non-crazy people would wonder about what really happened, and of course many have wondered. In 1976, long forgotten, the House of Representatives impaneled a special committee to reinvestigate the JFK assassination. Their bipartisan conclusion? Jack Kennedy was almost certainly murdered as the result of a conspiracy. But the question is, a conspiracy by whom? Well, the obvious suspect would be the CIA. Why else would the agency withhold critical evidence from investigators? Is there a benign explanation for that, for maintaining this level of secrecy for this many years? Not that we're aware of. And it is illegal. In 1992, Congress passed the President John F. Kennedy Assassination Records Collection Act. And that act mandated full disclosure of all documents by 2017. 54 years after JFK was killed. The last administration promised to comply fully with that law, but under intense pressure from CIA Director Mike Pompeo, withheld in the end thousands of pages of CIA documents. Today, this afternoon, the Biden administration did exactly the same thing. That would be thousands of pages of documents after nearly 60 years, after the death of every single person involved. But we still can't see them. Clearly, it's not to protect any person. They're all dead. It's to protect an institution. But why? Well, today we decided to find out. We spoke to someone who had access to these still hidden CIA documents, a person who was deeply familiar with what they contain. We asked this person directly, did the CIA have a hand in the murder of John F. Kennedy, an American president? And here's the reply we received verbatim. Quote, the answer is yes. I believe they were involved. It's a whole different country from what we thought it was. It's all fake.
Jesus.
It's hard to imagine a more jarring response than that. Again, this is not a, quote, conspiracy theorist that we spoke to. Not even close. This is someone with direct knowledge of the information that once again is being withheld from the American public. And the answer we received was unequivocal. Yes, the CIA was involved in the assassination of the president.
Wow.
Now, some people will not be
Bro.
Wow.
Jesus Christ.
97% of the documents they said have now been released. I think as of this like whatever yesterday or something, and people are starting to look through those. They don't expect to find anything in those because there's still
they've kept
thousands of documents.
Well, I would definitely not let people read the ones that would be looking bad. I mean, that's the only explanation. Why can't we read them? They must be bad. They can't be good. Well, they say a lot of great things about the CIA, and we're pretty humble. I mean, we don't want that.
That's going to cause chaos. That's why. The whole place, the country's going to fucking riot.
How will they ever find out? If they're able to keep shit from us, how will they ever find out? Even though there's been laws passed and, rulings that they're supposed to release it in 2017. Like, what? But why not? Like, what are you doing? What's happening? And they don't have to explain. That's what's crazy. It's like, imagine if you were being investigated by the police and they said, hey, Brian, why do you have $2 million in cash and 100 pounds of cocaine? And you're like, I can't let you know about that. That stuff, I keep that from you. So you can look into my bank account, and most of that money's from gifts. People give me gifts. I'm real friendly. What? Someone said you definitely sold coke. No. I mean, someone is saying they definitely were involved in the killing, and the CIA is like, we don't have anything to say.
So I'm surprised Trump didn't take that out. You know what I mean? And show everybody. It seems like something he would do.
You ever heard Putin talk about American presidents? Mm-mm. It's very interesting. He does this. He has this conversation where they're talking about Trump. I believe it was while Trump was running for office, and he was essentially saying Trump is a smart guy, but all these ideas that he has, they'll never work. He said, I've sat through 2 different presidents. He's like, this is what happens. I think he said 3 presidents. He goes, this is what happens. You have all these ideas, and then these men with the dark suits show up, and they tell you how the country's run. Like, see if you can find that video, because it's very interesting. Because it's Putin explaining why no one ever follows through on their promises. No one does. Everyone running for office, they have all these grand ideas. I'm going to let all the potheads out of jail, and I'm going to make this legal.
What happened to that?
Well, there was no one in jail for possession. That idea that people were in jail, federal prison, rather, there's no one in prison for possession. The idea that people were going to be released from federal prison. The idea that people were going to be released from federal prison with marijuana possession charges. There's no one in federal prison with marijuana possession charges. The people in jail are all in for distribution and growing, and they're in there for money laundering. They're drug dealers. The people that are in federal prison, it's because marijuana is illegal. They shouldn't be in jail, for sure. But they're not in jail or in prison because they had possession. They were selling it. Even people that are in federal prison or state prisons, like that, they should be released. This fucking, this Brittany Griner thing, people are not making enough about how many people are in jail for marijuana in this country. It's great that they got her out. It's not great that they had to give up a fucking horrible arms dealer to get her out. It's not great that we left behind that Marine, but it's great that they got her out. She shouldn't be in jail for weed. Everybody agrees to that. But why are these people in our country in jail? There's thousands of people in jail for marijuana-related charges.
Remember Tommy Chong? How silly is that?
Dude, all he did was sell bongs.
Yeah.
But they were going to imprison his family.
Mm-hmm.
And he had to step up, and he's a real man. And he did step up. He just had to go to jail, and then he couldn't smoke weed for a long time after that, too. And now it's legal in California.
Now you can buy a bong on Amazon.
I think the bongs are being sold in other states, though. I think it was one of them deals where it was like they were selling them in Florida or something.
Crossing the line or crossing the border.
Right, which you can't do. You got to make people fly out to California and get them.
Yeah.
What does this say? Yeah, here, his says, play this. Yeah, I'll read it. He says, I've communicated with one U.S. president, with the second and the third. Presidents come and go, but the politics remain the same. Do you know why that is? Because the bureaucracy has a lot of power. So a person is elected, he comes with his ideas, then the people with the briefcases come to visit him, well-dressed in dark suits, kind of like mine, except instead of a red or black red tie, it's a black or navy. And then they explain what to do, and the whole rhetoric changes, you see? This happens from one administration to the next. And he's right. And that's probably what it is. And that's why there's thousands of documents that can't be released. Because we got to pretend Mm-hmm. That's why they're going to run Biden again in 2024. Fucking wheel him out there. We're going to make him win. We're going to make Trump look like such a piece of shit. Maybe someone from the CIA convinced Trump to sell those NFTs. Mr. Trump, what I think you should do is say you're the greatest president ever. Better than Lincoln, better than Washington. You think? Should I say that? Yeah, go say it. Go say it. Like, if there was somebody on his team that was like a CIA mole, like someone who had like got his trust, sort of like one of them CIA ladies that marries a drug dealer, you know, like sneaks in with the cartel or something like that. They could do that. They could talk. He's like, if you just stroked his ego the right way, maybe that's what they did to get him to sell these NFTs.
He also made a shitload of money.
Oh yeah,
that was at 5,000 of them. Each one $100. 4
or 5 million.
4 or 5 million bucks with Donald Trump NFTs.
That.
Yeah.
Here's a JPEG.
That'll pay for the maintenance on that giant plane of his for 1 year.
Yeah.
Yeah. That guy needs a lot of money to keep that party rolling. That whole thing he's doing, and the fact that he's going to run again, and the fact that Biden's going to run against him. I mean, can you imagine if the roles were reversed? Could you imagine if Trump was like almost senile, or senile, just clearly showing signs of decline? His son leaves a laptop in a Maryland repair shop that's filled with crazy emails that implicate Trump. That he's getting foot jobs and doing crack with street hookers in Vietnam, like wild shit on that laptop. And then they manage to hide it from Twitter. They get Twitter to remove the links, get everybody to hide the story. Say it's Russian disinformation. All the federal agencies, we believe this is all the hallmarks of Russian disinformation. But it turns out to be real. And then he wants to run again. People would be in the streets. They would be rioting. But because it's not him, the more outrageous he acts, the more it strengthens the resolve of people who are like anybody but Trump. And so they're willing to forgive anything that Biden has said, any lie he's told, any bullshit thing that he says that doesn't make any sense. Let him talk. He'll say things on Twitter. They fact check it. No one cares. No one cares. They're still better than Trump. Better than Trump. It's wild. It's wild, dude.
That's why I'm voting Kanye.
He's got a shot now. He didn't have a shot before, but now he's got a shot. What the fuck? How crazy. He asked Trump to be his vice president.
That is so ridiculous.
That's so Kanye.
That is so Kanye.
That's such a Kanye move. You know? You want to be my vice president? Can you imagine if Trump said yes? Can you imagine Trump and Kanye just hanging out on the campaign trail?
God. That would have worked.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Trump and Kanye.
I'll be a great vice president, but I don't want to be a president. I'd be the best. If I wanted to be a president, I'd be the best president.
The events would be interesting.
Oh, they would be incredible.
Crazy.
They'd be incredible.
Trump walking out on those giant stages that Kanye makes.
The CIA needs to talk him into that. Like, bring Kanye back. Bring him back. Bring him back.
Hear that shit he said about Chappelle? That he gets all his chokes. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah. He doesn't handle being in this situation very well. It's a fucked up situation, man. How does one bounce back from all the things that he said?
Did you watch the whole Alex Jones interview?
No. No, when Alex is the voice of reason.
It's so insane.
Well, actually, the Nazis were bad guys. Hitler was a bad guy. Kanye's like, I love Hitler. He's like, what? No. You can't. You don't mean that. You don't mean that. We'll be right back.
Those two together, I never thought I would ever see the day, but there's something magic about those two together.
When Kanye was wearing a mask over his whole face,
yeah,
like he's fucking ink blot in The Watchmen.
Yeah.
I'm like, or Warsaw, what is it? Rorschach.
Mm-hmm.
That guy was the shit. The Watchmen's a great movie. I watched that again recently on a plane flight. It's like I forgot how good that movie is.
The Watchmen?
Yeah, it's a superhero movie, but they're not heroic. Like some of them are really bad guys, and it's almost like soldiers that have seen too much war and violence and just willing to shoot people. And
it's the old DC comic, right? Is it the same one?
Is the Watchmen a DC comic?
I thought it was a.
Yes.
I remember.
Yes.
Yeah,
was the original comic as dark and bleak?
Yeah, it was pretty bad. I remember. Wasn't it the one that had like a happy face with a blood splat on? Yeah. It was dark.
That was they called him the comedian. Yeah, that was Dr. Manhattan was the shit too.
Yeah.
Remember you get to see Dr. Manhattan's dong?
I was on Ellen as Mr. Manhattan.
Did you watch the TV show at all, or just the movie?
I didn't watch the TV show. I watched one episode, but my problem was the Dr. Manhattan was a regular guy. Like Dr. Manhattan was supposed to like dematerialize and disappear from Earth, and then he would like run through the hallways as a ghost in the movie. And then he came back and like reformulated as Dr. Manhattan, who's basically a god. And he would like have sex with his girlfriend, but he would make like multiple copies of him that would be constantly doing work while the one copy of him is having sex with her, and she got all bummed out.
Yeah, I never.
It was a great movie, man.
I don't think I ever saw it.
But see, look at the regular guy from the show.
Right.
I mean, he's so the TV show
Right there. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's-
I mean, he's just not built right. Like Dr. Manhattan is supposed to be like the perfect Greek god, sculpted out of granite, and glows, and he's a god. He's not a human with a t-shirt on. Like that guy. Go to the guy with a t-shirt on. Yeah, you can't.
that looks stupid.
You can't do that.
dumb.
You can't do that. You can't make him a regular guy.
Yeah.
You can't make him just a regular human. I mean, he has to be glowing, and he can't wear t-shirts. And he's also supposed to be super jacked. Like the real one was like, that's like making the Hulk like a regular guy. If you had the Hulk, like guys are bigger in real life than that guy in that t-shirt who's dressed like Dr. Manhattan. But Dr. Manhattan looks like a bodybuilder. I mean, he's like the perfect specimen of humanity and a god. He can appear on other planets and build castles and shit in the sky. And you can't have him just be like a regular dude.
Yeah.
You can't break the rules.
That dude doesn't eat raw meat.
That guy needs to do some squats. He needs to go to Iron Paradise with The Rock. Like if you had so if you had someone like The Rock play Dr. Manhattan, okay, I buy that because that's what he's built like. He's literally built like a superhero. But you can't have like a regular guy. You know, come on, man.
You see what's his face? That actor Zac Efron. Zac Efron. Have you seen his body lately?
Oh, he's becoming a pro wrestler, right? For a movie.
Yeah.
Who's he playing? Is he playing a real pro wrestler? Or?
Yeah, it's the family. I don't know which particular one, but there's a family of guys from Texas who are all really famous wrestlers, and he's like one of them.
What's the names?
I don't. I'm not deep in the wrestling.
Wish Tony was here.
Yeah, he would know instantly.
Instantly.
Look at him though.
Jesus, he's jacked.
And if you look at a picture of the guy he's playing, he
Von
looks
Erich.
almost exactly.
The Von Erich.
Oh,
family.
the Von Erichs, of course. Yeah, they're a famous family of wrestlers.
Zac Efron's pretty crazy because when he did
Pretty close, right? Look at that.
Yeah. When he did Baywatch, he got really jacked up for Baywatch, and he said he almost died and he would never do that again.
But this is a different kind of jacked. I
Yeah.
think back then he got dehydrated.
Yeah.
Like a lot of those guys when they do movies, the thing about being really ripped, like look how jacked he is. Jesus Christ, the hair's perfect. He looks awesome.
Yeah, he looks great.
Totally natural, by the way. Definitely.
for sure.
Yeah, definitely not on. He's just eating raw liver. But to be a guy who's built like that, like for a film, like that's a serious fucking commitment. That's a lot of work. He looks great. He looks like the guy. But now, if you wanted to be like super ripped, like that guy's just jacked, right? But if you want to be super ripped, like who said they did it and they got real sick? Was it Chris Helmsworth? Where you have to literally dry yourself out because you dehydrate yourself so you look really ripped. Like when those guys are stepping on the scale, like a bodybuilding competition, they're super dehydrated. Like they can't wait to get water inside of them, and that's why they look so shredded.
Like here.
Ooh, yeah, look, he was shredded.
It's insane.
Yeah, he probably got super dehydrated there.
It's crazy.
Look at that one with him doing a chin up. That one that you just
Oh, I
passed.
thought it was doing the one.
Look at that. Way to go, Zuck. Looks good.
Yeah.
People get mad. He's cheating. He did this and he did. Look, but he really looks like that. That's not CGI.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, people forgot about all those Hollywood people. Like, what's that one comedian who's all jacked now?
Camille?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he's like, he was like an alt guy. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like, hey, you're becoming one of the bad people.
Can you imagine if like Zach Galifianakis or something like that just becomes
got
super
jacked.
ripped?
Guys have done it.
Yeah.
You know, Ethan Suplee. You know, Ethan was like grossly overweight, and now he's like super jacked. He's built like a brick shithouse now. He's a fucking tank, that guy, and he's super dedicated. Like he made an Instagram post about he brings his food with him on airplanes. So he only eats clean all the time now.
Tom's looking amazing, man. I saw
Look at
him the other
Look
day.
at Ethan.
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
crazy.
That's insane.
Crazy. So he went from being a guy who's like really, really overweight to a guy who's fucking.
He doesn't even look like the same person.
Yeah, no, look at him in that one. Look at him in that one where he's like really, really, really overweight.
That's insane.
Incredible. And he had to get like skin cut off, all the extra skin, and he actually blew through it and had to get that a second time because he gained weight again and then lost it finally. So he gained like, I think he said, what did he say, like 100 pounds at one point in time? So he lost all this weight, got real thin, had the skin removed, then gained weight back.
Jesus.
So it's a hard thing, man. It's a roller coaster ride for people that have a problem with
300
food.
pounds.
Jesus.
So he wants to weigh at about 550.
Jesus. That's so big. But kudos to him. The beautiful thing about someone like him is he did it publicly and he shows that it can be done. So someone was also thinking about that. They're like, look, if that guy can do it, I can do it. It's doable. It's not easy, but it's doable. Like that's many years of work. Many, and you're not going to see progress immediately. That's what's hard for people. If you could work really hard and you look great the next day, everybody would do it. Mm-hmm. All you got to do is like one hard workout, and the next day you look awesome at a party. Just one time. Woo! Everybody would do it. But it just takes years and years and years of eating fucking carrots and a piece of tilapia. Like, oh.
Did you hear about that new like magic drug, weight loss drug? That's
yeah, we've talked about it before.
Yeah.
Semaglutide. Yeah, that's a lot of people are on it, including the Musk man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's on it. Yeah, he posted about it. Yeah, he posted. He's getting ripped.
Wow.
Yeah, it makes you have less of an appetite apparently, and it might also like help you burn fat better. I think it's but a big part of it is it affects your appetite. You get full quicker.
Yeah, I guess they're trying to throw it through the FDA as fast as possible, right? Because it works so well, or something like that.
I don't know. What do you think about that?
I think it's great. Finally a magic diet pill.
You gonna get on it?
Hell yeah, I'll get
You're
on
all
it.
in?
It's injections.
Huh? Is it?
Yeah.
How many? Like once a day? What do we do?
This one is not that bad. This one is like once a week, maybe. There's another one that works just as well, supposedly, but that's a lot more fluid, and it's like 3-4 times a week.
How about you do it every day? Fuck it, let's go. Let's go. Jack by Summer, the Brian Redban story. We talked before about you and David Lucas doing like a weight loss challenge.
Yeah.
The problem is, especially you just telling me that you don't work out, and I don't know if David works out. I think David does work out, but probably not too rigorously. I don't want anybody dying. I'm like, you can't have a contest where guys try to get healthy the quickest because that's not healthy.
Right.
It's actually not healthy to starve yourself and work out like a demon to try to win some money.
Right. And I would I would definitely, I would definitely, try to. I would want to beat Dave, so I would go
100%.
crazy. I would be eating celery.
And we were going to put a lot of money on the line.
Yeah.
But I started thinking about it one day when I was high, and I was like, "Ooh, what if someone dies?"
Or what if? And also, it would just be like David could just, he'll lose like 100 pounds a week.
Yeah, it's like he's bigger than you too, so we couldn't make it like who weighs the less.
Right, it would have to be
who loses the most
stuff.
Because when Bert and Tom did that weight loss challenge, they dehydrated the shit out of it. Look at David Lucas. Core strength is very important. He's got core strength, ladies and gentlemen. He's pushing that thing towards his dick, and he's looking at you.
Stare.
It's a great stare. He's a funny motherfucker. When him and Tony go back and forth with each other, that's all he's eating.
Do you remember him and?
That's a piece of brownie.
Him and Tony wrestling.
Yeah,
that one.
Tony fucked him up.
Yeah, that was
You
awesome.
can't just eat a brownie and say I'm eating light.
I don't think he did. I was kidding. I was kidding off that.
That wasn't his food?
No, it was. He said that's what got brought out for dessert.
Oh, he was upset. Give me 30 of those. I worked out hard today. It's hard, man. It's hard. Once you're big, it's hard. And I've never gotten big, but I've gotten bigger. I get like a little fat when I drink too much and then I eat too much pasta. I'll go like a few weeks when I do this. I'm like, ew. Or I catch myself in the mirror and my fucking stomach is hanging out. But I bounce back quick. As long as I just train smart, or where I'm working out and really like getting after it every day and making sure I don't eat stupid shit, my body bounces back quick. The problem is when you let that happen. Like if I got fat for like a month, And then it was the second month. The next thing you know, I'm 30 pounds overweight. Not 8 pounds overweight, but 30 pounds overweight. Like, yo, that's when it gets rough, you know? And then you get into this habit. I like getting up in the morning and eating pastries.
Do you?
No. I do, though. I do while I'm eating them. Fuck yeah. Everybody does. That's why they're so hard to not eat. If you could have, like, chocolate croissants every day, the best ones with, like, the gooey chocolate inside of them, nothing?
No, I don't like stuff like that.
What about Krispy Kreme?
Hot,
right from the oven?
I mean, that's
Don't
okay.
Lie. Don't lie,
I'd
bro.
rather be ice cream.
If you and I were coming home from a gig and we were in the car, and I'm like, Brian, the hot sign is on.
Joe, what are you talking about?
You know the hot sign when Krispy Kreme. If you don't know Krispy Kreme, folks, when the donuts are right out of the oven, they're the best. They're always good. They're always delicious. But when they're right out of the oven, it's special. They're fucking warm and they melt in your mouth and they're sensational. Those little glazed ones, those maple glazed ones, yeah, that's what I'm talking about, bro. You can. Jamie Vernon's Instagram.
I remember seeing this. I saw a red light after I had a good dinner.
Look at all the fucking steam coming off them and shit.
I never had one with the light on.
Bro.
I've only had it like at 7-Eleven or something.
No. You need to catch Krispy Kreme when they get that. You should wait for them. It's like, I'm not ready to buy yet. When's that light coming on?
Yeah. I remember the line used to be insane, like a mile long in Burbank every time that light was on.
They're selling drugs.
Yeah.
They're selling sugar. It's a potent drug, man. I used to get them all the time. You know, if I was coming home from a gig and I was a little tired, I make the worst food choices. And Krispy Kreme was open pretty late. You know, you just scoot in there, get yourself some chocolate cream-filled donuts.
You have so many of them, too. You don't just have one. You don't have one like you normally would everywhere else.
I would buy a dozen for my family. I'm not an asshole. I want to share it with everybody. When my family and I, when we would go to Maui, one of the first things we did when we rented a car, there's a Krispy Kreme on the way to the beach from the airport, like right after you get out of the airport, like, oh. So it was like a thing we did. And every year we did it, we're like, we're not doing this again. Because we're all like, oh, you eat 3 or 4 of those fucking things. And then you feel like shit when you're at the beach, like, oh my God, I feel terrible. I'm going through an insulin spike right now. My body doesn't know what the fuck to do. I'm crashing hard.
I was on a plane with someone brought the suitcase of White Castle burgers with them. Carry on. Like, all right, that's
I had White Castle a month ago in Vegas. Man, that shit's so
What
good.
percentage of that is actually meat?
Well, it's very thin meat.
Right.
So it's not much meat, but it's meat.
Are they doing it like McDonald's does, though? Doesn't McDonald's have some, like, shenanigans going on?
No.
Wasn't there, like, some goo, remember?
There's
Subway.
They're like it's I don't want to speak out of turn, but I feel like it's like the McRib had something in it.
Well, let's find out. There was something about the beef in McDonald's hamburgers. I forget, because, like, there was one company that, like, trademarked the 100% beef thing. Did TikTokers expose how McDonald's McRib is cooked?
This is true. So
yeah, I think that's true.
I love about storing and cooking it, though. I don't know if it's talking about what's in it.
Yeah, but try burger. Just Google. This is what I want you to Google. I want you to Google McDonald's beef additives.
Butthole.
All together in that order, please. Don't just start with butthole. You fuck up the search.
Every one of our McDonald's burgers is made with 100% pure beef.
Right, but here's what I want you to Google.
Pepper, and nothing else.
Google the
no
term.
Fillers, no additives.
Right. Okay, so it's all beef. Google the term, because this was the rumor, was that the term 100% pure beef was copyrighted by McDonald's. So they could say 100% pure beef, but...
Are you talking about Taco Bell?
No, Taco Bell definitely has some stuff in there.
Okay.
They put Frisbees.
So this seems like one of those
it was bullshit?
Yeah, like there's a rumor, there's a 100% pure beef, and it's like, this is false.
Oh, it is false. So was there at any time, did McDonald's have stuff in their beef other than beef? Is that a more recent thing? It's amazing how they sell cheeseburgers, and In-N-Out sells cheeseburgers. And In-N-Out takes longer to get you cheeseburger. But you're going to go in that line.
What line, Joe? I don't know what you're talking about. The In-N-Out by me never has a line. I get to go right to the drive-thru.
Really?
It's amazing.
In California, they have a line.
I know.
Well, how come they don't have a line out here?
You know, well, where I live, there's like literally an In-N-Out, a Whataburger, every P. Terry's, like everything is all lined up, and everyone goes to all the other places.
Pete Terry's is good.
Yeah, In and Out though, man. Not having to line it in and out.
But
Jesus.
Pete Terry's is legit.
I love Pete Terry's.
They're legit, and
Better
they
fries,
do
too.
that lettuce wrap too. They'll give you a lettuce.
Yeah.
The number one for me is Five Guys.
Me too. You can't go wrong. It's the
You can't
best
go wrong.
burger.
Plus, you can get jalapenos on it, and they have milkshakes. No, they don't have milkshakes.
Yeah, they do.
Some of them don't.
Some.
Oh.
Yeah,
Some do, some don't. You can get bacon, jalapenos, and bacon on your cheeseburger, and they're the shit. And they give you peanuts.
Good fries.
The fries are bomb diggity.
Yeah.
Two
I wish they had the
different kinds of
cheese
fries.
sauce that like the Shake Shack has.
They'll fuck you up though. You know another one that was really good? It's underrated. Fuddruckers.
Fuddruckers is
Ostrich
amazing.
burger.
Yeah.
Get a rare ostrich burger at Fuddruckers and put all that cheese sauce on it and fucking onions and all that
Where
stuff.
have you been
and
going to
jalapenos.
Fuddruckers at though?
We used to go to the one in Burbank.
Burbank. It closed.
That was a good one.
Yeah, I think Fuddruckers is out of business now.
Is it? Oh no,
think
they
so.
should have just sold ostrich burgers.
Yeah.
We would Eddie Bravo and I would lift weights at the 24-hour fitness in Woodland Hills, and then we would go to fucking Fuddruckers afterwards. Chow down. That was like our thing. Get baked as fuck. Go to Fuddruckers. Woo!
Yeah, Fuddruckers is great.
Talk about aliens. We were 29-year-old, 12-year-olds. Yeah, man. There's something about those kind of burgers, you know, like a fucking just a hot burger with melted cheese and like Philip makes. Philip
the
makes
best.
amazing ones.
A little spicy though. It kind of fucks my asshole up though a little.
What are they called? Not a damn chance.
Yeah,
Those are damn good.
so good.
Those are real good.
The seasoning on that.
But there's something about that. The burgers are so fucking satisfying. When you're hungry, look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that thing with the pickles and the melted cheese. Jesus. And that's from a Michelin star chef. I mean, that's incredible. Those are incredible. There's a lot of really good food in Austin, man. We're very lucky. Except if you're trying to beat David Lucas in a weight loss competition.
I went to Thanksgiving at his house, you know, and him and his wife cooked. And man, that was the second year in a row I went to his house for Thanksgiving, and you can't beat his Imagine him making Thanksgiving. It was so great.
Oh my God. Yeah. Big guys know how to eat.
Yeah. Not David Lucas. No, I'm talking about Philip.
Oh, I thought you said David.
No.
That's even better.
Yeah, for the last 2
my
years,
God.
we've gone to Philip's house, and him and his wife.
That's interesting. I was like, I didn't know David could cook.
I'm not good at
Oh, well,
David's
Philip. You went to
house.
Philip's house
Yeah.
for Thanksgiving? Oh, that's cheating.
It was the best ever.
That's incredible. I was just with Jesse Griffiths from Daidue, the chef at Daidue. I was in hunting camp with him in South Texas, and he cooked every day for us. It was insane.
Wow.
Insane. Wow. They shot ducks, and he cooked the ducks up. He shot a pig, and they turned the pig into these Indian curries, 3 different Indian curries. It was sensational. It was so good. I made videos. I'll put the videos up online later.
Have you found a place out here that does foie gras? I haven't
Yeah,
had
there's
it
places.
since-
There's quite a few places that do it. Yeah. Jay Carver's does it.
Okay.
Yeah, that place is great. You ever go to that place?
No. I haven't gone to many places. I stay up north so much, you know.
Well, you're in the fucking boonies, son.
Yeah.
But I like where you live.
Yeah.
It's quiet. You know,
Yeah.
like Tim Dillon, like out where he's at, like those kind of places. Those are nice, man. It's just so peaceful at night, and it's like you see the stars, and those bedroom communities are sort of sleepy communities. Until you get a murder-suicide down the block, they're nice.
Yeah.
Until you hear bang, bang, like shit. Other than that, those sleepy communities are awesome. It's just like you're more in the country. Like you must have deer in your yard every day.
Not as much deer, mostly the bobcats and weird animals like that. We also have a lot of armadillos, and I see dead armadillos everywhere.
That's such a Texas animal.
Yeah, it's but I've never seen them alive. They've always just been on this side of the road.
I've seen them
Coyotes
alive.
too, a lot of coyotes.
Yeah, I heard a lot of them in South Texas. They were howling at night. It's something. Look, I don't want them near me, but it's something cool about the fact that they're out there. That's with even wolves, man. Imagine living in Montana and hearing wolves at night.
You hear about that chick that shot a husky because she said it was a wolf or something?
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah.
That's awful. Well, the thing about shooting something with a gun is you're looking at it through a rifle scope from, hundreds of yards away. You could think a husky was a wolf. And if it's in wolf country, you would assume it's a wolf. That sucks. Isn't it funny that, like, they look so similar, but one of them really bums you out? A wolf bums me out if someone shoots it, but they have to keep their populations in check. Wolves, there's a reason why they eradicated wolves from the West back in the day, and it's not because they're awesome.
Right.
It's the same reason why they stopped World War I, so that the Russians and the Germans made a ceasefire, because so many of them were getting killed by wolves. Like, wolves are rough. I mean, they're fucking amazing. Don't get me wrong. I'm happy that wolves are real. But you don't want a lot of them around. You don't want a lot of them around where there's not a lot of food, especially not if you like your kids and you like your dog. That's where all that Little Red Riding Hood shit, the big bad wolf, that was real. Back when guns weren't so good, when they wrote those stories, like, you couldn't really shoot that many wolves. You really couldn't eradicate them. It wasn't easy to do. It's still not easy to do with guns. The way they do it is with poison. The way they killed the wolves in the West was they would shoot a horse, and they would inject the horse with poison, like cyanide. They would put it in its veins and pump cyanide through the horse's body. And then the wolves would eat the carcass, and they would all die.
Right.
But it didn't work with the coyotes. Coyotes are too slick. They couldn't poison them. They could poison a few here and there, but then they would figure it out because they do the roll call, and then the females would have more pups, and then they would spread their branches out. They would move to different parts of the state, and they just kept expanding. So the more they tried to kill wolves off, the more they made more coyotes.
Wow.
Yeah. And also the wolves would chase the coyotes away from the dead horses. They wouldn't let them eat it. So the wolves would just gorge on it, fucking tear it apart, and then they would all croak. Isn't that wild? And then in the 1990s, they're like, oh, we made a mistake. We're going to bring wolves back. So they dropped them off in Yellowstone, and they just fucking decimated all those poor animals, didn't know what a wolf was. Imagine there's no wolves. You're an elk, having a great time. People like to take selfies with you. That's fine. There was no selfies back then. But, photos, whatever. And then, all of a sudden there's wolves. The cleanup crew.
You ever seen this picture? This guy riding an elk.
Whoa. Missoula, Montana, 1910. Wow. He put a fucking saddle on an elk.
Santa Claus.
That's crazy. Imagine if that thing just decides to fucking swing its head and stab him in the neck. Look at the antlers on that fucker. This guy's riding a moose. That's nuts. Is that a painting?
No, it's just an old picture.
Shitty old painting? Or shitty old photograph, rather? That is wild, man. That dude's riding a moose.
That's
a moose.
That doesn't
It's
look
Canadian.
real.
No, that's a cow moose.
No, I know, but this
Doesn't look real?
Doesn't look like a real photo.
Looks real to me, but I'm gullible.
The lighting.
They already
seems
got me
way
with that
off.
father-son thing.
The lighting just seems off on this. Is all.
Does it?
Yeah.
It
I don't know.
does seem weird.
It seems it could be real. I'm not going full fake, but just that something seems off. About
I think you're right about the face of the face of the moose looks a little sketch.
He doesn't seem to fit in that. The lighting on the trees is matching what's on him and the moose and stuff.
Yeah, it seems like it got cut and pasted onto a different
I've seen better
background.
Photoshop jobs.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm gullible.
That's
that's
what
a
makes a
dude
good
on
Photoshop. Most of this, that blending is like that's what tricks everyone.
Yeah.
You're really good at it or you're not.
You want to throw that through a filter and see what we find? Do it like they did with Obama's birth certificate.
Look at that one. Holy shit.
Wow.
That looks real.
What is that? Elk riding. Okay.
See, that looks fake to me.
That
The
looks
difference
fake.
between her blanket and the elk's
Yeah.
body.
You're not wrong. That does look kind of fake.
That looks fake.
That looks really fake.
Yeah, it looks really fake. Like all the difference between her blanket and that elk's body looks fake to me.
Yeah, there's no shadow.
Yeah, it looks like someone
Yeah.
green screen.
Also, go back to that one again.
About that. Oh,
Go back to that one again.
Damn
That
it.
one looks real.
it's stuck.
Oh.
They've changed something on how these pictures
Yeah,
work.
it's
I can't
so annoying.
Control it the same way I used to.
Scroll down and see if we can find it. So here's the other problem with this. She's not in any control of that elk.
Right. She's just holding onto the saddle. There's
Yeah.
no rope. Yeah. Okay, that's fake for sure.
Yeah,
Right,
there's
how
no
did-
shadows.
Yeah,
How'd
it's
she
just
even?
blending in there? Yeah, it's just a fake green screen.
Yeah, it looks fake.
Strike that.
But I guarantee you someone's ridden a fucking elk. I guarantee you there's been a dude who put a fucking saddle on everything. They probably would try to ride polar bears. People are assholes. They probably try. I mean, look, Santa's reindeer. I mean, they had reindeers pulling
Did you see
sleds.
the video of the guy smoking a cigarette riding the bull?
No.
Oh shit! All right, now this I'm pretty sure is real. They're like, this is the greatest sporting achievement of all time.
He's smoking while he's riding a bull.
And he's got like a cast on one arm too, and he's just like,
he
he's
doesn't
just
give a
squeezing
fuck.
it with his legs. It looks so real. It could be fake too. It's like it's so crazy of a thing. Oh, hold on.
So
Thank God for stupidity.
is the bull the same as a longhorn, or is that something different?
It's a different kind of. Oh wow, that looks real as fuck, dude. The guy's got a cast on his arm.
It's the part of the bull part. He doesn't.
He's on
go
the bull.
off. He's on it for a whole time. He rides it till it's tired. No, he's not even holding on.
He's just going with it while he's smoking a cigarette. That looks real as fuck, dude. He's just a bad man. And that's not like the best bull at kicking people off. That bull seems like he's been tranquilized.
Look,
He
he
almost
gets
lost
knocked
it.
off. He gets back on.
Well, he's got his stirrups are tied in real tight. Obviously,
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
His feet are being held in.
His feet are held in real tight, and the bull just gave up. He's like, "Fuck it, nope, one more job. I'm gonna shake this dude off me." He doesn't like it.
How? Wait, hold on. How are his feet? No, see, his feet aren't tied in.
But they probably undid it there.
He would die if that happened, though.
Let's see. You're right. You're right. It looks
have
like he's
to
just pinching with his
squeeze.
legs.
You just gotta squeeze.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Imagine that guy's guard. He's probably the best jiu-jitsu guard of all time. He probably capture you. You're fucked.
That's crazy.
That guy would have the best triangle ever in history. But if you think like you just squeeze with your legs are so much bigger than your arms. You ever seen that video of a guy? The bull comes at him and he grabs the bull in a headlock and throws the bull over the top of him. The bull comes down. He clamps a hold of the bull's head and rolls with it and gets on top of the bull.
Wow.
And guys were sending it to me like, imagine this guy's head and arm choke.
Jesus.
Crazy. BJ Penn actually sent it to me.
Oh, hilarious.
And he's like, dude, guillotines for days. And I'm like, yeah, look at this guy's choke. This guy's got insane
shit.
choke. Watch this.
Oh my God.
That's one. That's a different one. That's not the same one. This guy headlocked it and he rolled it over the top. Like the bull came towards him and he grabbed a hold of the neck, got to the side, and this is a different one too. But I think people probably got good at that. So he's hanging on to it while they let it go.
The guy's holding his tail.
It says he slams it. So let's see. Oh, yeah, man. So the guy's holding his tail. That's kind of cheating. The other guy wasn't holding the head. Or there wasn't a guy holding the tail with the other guy. This guy's just hanging on to the neck. But again, he's tripping it. Oh, he's a wrestler.
Jesus.
That guy's got to be
wow.
a wrestler. And he took it down. Jesus Christ.
That's
But
crazy.
that's a very young bull. The other one, the bull had horns. And the bull was coming at him, and he clamped a hold of the bull's neck and flipped him to the ground. This is it.
Oh.
Look
Wow.
at that. That's incredible.
That is crazy.
That's all grip, bro. Look at that guy's grip. It's incredible. Show that again.
That's cool.
Watch how this guy does this.
Holy shit.
He comes at the guy grabs a hold of it, boom, over the top, and hangs on. This dude is a hell of a grappler. Like, that squeeze is fucking amazing. Look how he's got a hold of the horns, holding on to it.
Huh.
You just don't want to let go. We probably didn't see the end.
Where he mauls him.
Yeah, eventually lets go, and that bull sticks a horn right up his asshole. There's a lot of those videos, dude, of matadors.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when it was hard to see something fucked up? Remember when we were kids?
I just found a new website that's you remember what's the one that they used to have, like
Live Leak?
Live Leak. It's like the new Live Leak.
Oh.
And it's horrible. Like, it's like there was one person got run over at a New York subway. And it's just meat, like clothing and meat, and oh, it's
Where
fucking.
they find their clips for your mom's house.
I probably
section. I have no idea where they're getting that stuff.
It's
from.
called like USA Crime or something weird. Like, you could tell it's a website.
I think with your mom's house, it's a lot of donations. It's a lot of people sending
it in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not donations, contributions. Like people online.
freelance contributions.
Yeah,
Yes.
freelance. Yeah, I mean, they're have you done one of their live shows?
Not the live shows.
Dude,
Yeah.
they're rough.
I can't do it. I don't like that stuff.
I've seen a lot,
Right.
but it was shocking to me. I had to gag multiple times and turn my face away from the screen multiple times. A lot of shit stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of people like eating shit and smearing shit all over themselves, and smearing it on their dicks, and you're like, what?
Yeah, they broke Bobby Lee the other couple
Oh,
days
they'll
ago.
break everybody, man. Tom and Christina are sick people.
They are.
They're sick people. But what they've done is an amazing achievement. It's brilliant the way they thought of it. They're like, let's do a show where we see stuff that we would watch, like if we were friends, we're just all hanging out, and we couldn't broadcast it anywhere because it would get removed. It's illegal. Mm-hmm. But if we make people pay to see it, it's totally legal. and we could just have this thing. We sign up, you pay, and we'll map out. And they hired producers from Saturday Night Live, like real people. They have sketches. It's a great show. I enjoyed the shit out of it. And after I left, I was like, dude, that is a great fucking show. Like, what you've done is amazing. It's a pay-per-view event. They do them like once every couple months or something like that. And when they do them, they're fucking nuts. They wait until they have enough sketches and enough fucked up videos, and then they bring in a guest and freak them the fuck out.
That's great.
What did Bobby Lee? They gave him a puke bucket?
It's like he got very angry about what he was saying.
It was great. Did Bobby do the show, Jerry?
No, he hasn't been on ever.
Really?
Yeah.
Has he
been on in the past?
Yeah, he was on
way
real,
back in the day.
episode 4 or 5 or something.
Okay, that's right. He hasn't been on since, but I would 100% have him on.
Yeah, he was in town the other day to do that Your Mom's House, and he came to the Secret Show and he did a spot and hung out with him. I haven't hung out with him in so long. He seems so happy now, so it's really cool to see a happy Bobby.
He's a lot more free. I'm very happy for him.
Yeah.
You know, it's he's a great person. He really is a sweetheart of a guy. If you don't like Bobby Lee, man, I think that's on you.
Yeah.
I don't know how you can not love that guy.
Yeah.
He's fucking hilarious. His stand-up is fucking hilarious. I've been busting his balls for years trying to get him to do a special. But, you know, if you go see, if you go see him live, you will not be disappointed. He's very fucking funny. He's the funniest guy that doesn't have a special, for sure. Like, no one's even close. He's a murderer. He would go to the Comedy Store in the fucking OR and just destroy. Bobby destroys. And he performs. He's so good. He's so enthusiastic. You know, hopefully he'll put together a special. But if he doesn't, go see him live. It's fucking great.
Yep.
And he's just a good dude. I'm happy to see him happy.
Yeah, me too.
And I bet his DMs are filled with bomb diggings.
Hell yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot of girls want to take up where Kalila left off. Let me show you some next level. You know?
Yeah.
But now they also realize they could get famous if they're Bobby Lee's girlfriend. There's probably a lot of those girls.
It's so dangerous nowadays.
So he's got to duck them. You got to know which one's a sociopath.
Yeah.
Which one's pretending they like you. And which one just really likes funny guys. You know who's fucking hilarious? Stavos. Have you had Stavos on Kill Tony before?
No, you know, I don't know him, but I see him all over the place.
Dude, he's so funny.
Yeah.
He's so funny. He's so funny on stage. He fucking murdered at the Vulcan. He was really funny, but he's really funny as a podcast guest, too. He's just a fun dude, man.
What's his style of comedy like? Is
Just a lot of crazy stories and talking shit, and he's just fucking great. Just free. He's like one of those up-and-coming new crop of just gunslingers.
I heard he's taking a break from stand-up comedy to lose weight. Is that?
He's trying to get healthy.
Right.
I think he's coming off a big tour. You know, he just wants to get healthy. His brother's a fitness trainer. You talked about that on the podcast too.
He's Greek, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Super Greek.
Yeah.
He knows everything about Greece. Greek gods, Greek this, Greek that. Yeah.
Gyros.
How do you pronounce his last name?
Halkias.
Halkias.
Oh.
That's a fucking Greek
That's
name.
a name.
Son.
That's-
He
Stavos
didn't do
Halkias.
it here, but he'll lean into this Baltimore accent real
Yeah.
heavy.
Tonight because I asked my chiropractor for a happy ending. Now that we got that out of the way, fuck the Steelers, yo. Let's fucking go Ravens, baby. The Steelers fucking suck dick. Pittsburgh sucks dick, yo. Fucking Kenny only throws pickets. You see his ass faking an injury because he was too scared to face the Ravens defense, yo. That hit wasn't nothing, yo. If that was me, I would have eaten that shit up. Fucking touchdown pass the next play, yo. But not everybody's built like a fucking champion like me or Joe Flacco, who the New York Jets should have kept in the game so that they could defeat the Bills, by the way. Anyway, Kenny's fucking too scared to play, so who y'all throw
That's a
in there?
character.
Midget.
Yeah,
He
so
does.
that's,
Obviously, that's a
Baltimore.
character. He's doing a Baltimore goof.
That reminded me that guy, Pat from Minaki died.
Yeah.
Baby Bird. I was there with you.
Oh, that was crazy. That to this day is the craziest experience I've ever had broadcasting anything. That was nuts. When I proposed that idea, I was joking around. I didn't think that guy would really lean his head off the edge of a garbage can and let that guy throw up in his mouth.
There was so much puke.
It was so crazy. If you haven't seen it, folks, Google Baby Bird O&A. The O&A days, man. There it is.
There.
Bam. That was real.
Still
Doesn't,
around, so I watched later.
yeah, it doesn't seem like it. We watched it recently.
Yeah.
Didn't we on Protect Our Parks?
Yeah, it was just in case someone didn't watch that.
Pal
Yeah,
Talk.
It's
version.
still around.
I forgot
It's
about Pal
Pal Talk. They were the first guys to do that.
Yeah.
They were broadcasting live on Pal Talk while they were on the radio.
Who owns what is Pal Talk now? You know, like did they get bought out? And
Elon bought it and shut it down.
Yeah. He needs to bring back Vine. Like
he was going to,
mentioned
wasn't he?
it. Yeah,
It's
that's
still open. Pal Talk.
Pal Talk is.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Java Strangers. Might have rebranded.
Yeah,
a
this
bit,
is probably a different company.
I remember when you had it back then. You had no. I think that's it. When you had it back then, it had to be PC. That's why I never had it.
Right.
You couldn't use it on a Mac, and that was back when I was trying to not play video games.
Live stream is only on Pal Talk.
Oh, there it goes.
Wow.
So there's shows that live stream only, but that was the first like sort of internet version of the radio show where they would stream both on the internet and on the radio at the same time. The O&A days, man, they were for people. You know, it's hard now to believe that there was no podcasts at one point in time, but there was a show where all the comics would go and just fuck around, and it was great.
And Bill Burr was like a regular on it almost every day. Remember
DePaulo,
that?
Burr,
Patrice
was the man. Patrice, if it was a Patrice episode of O&A, you knew it was going to be great. Rich Voss, Jim Norton. I mean, those guys were fucking great. It was a great show.
Monster Rain.
It was it's Monster Rain. It was a great show, man. It was a fucking great show. It was so much fun. And for young, stupid guys like me, it was like, oh my God, there's a thing like this? You know? And people like say that they ripped off Howard. It was certainly influenced by Howard. There's no doubt. Everybody was influenced by Howard, including me. But what they did was different because they had a hang. And that's what we did. When we did like Ice House Chronicles and we did all those shows that we did, we were doing a version of O&A.
Absolutely.
When we did those shows at the Ice House in Pasadena where you would go on stage and then the comics would like switch out depending on who's on stage. Like who's up? Like how much time do I have? And it was right across the hallway. So we'd run from the podcast studio right to the stage. Dude,
it was so fun, man.
It's the best.
It was so fun. You
It
should,
was so
you should do
fun.
something like that at your comedy club.
We 100% should do something like that. Yeah. Well, we're going to have set up at the comedy club where when you guys are doing Kill Tony, there'll be another room with an open mic going on simultaneously.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so you could actually practice. So like you might be able to do a set at the open mic and then go do Kill Tony. Well, you'll be hot. You'll get off stage, you have a good set, and then go bang it out on the internet in front of hundreds of thousands of people.
Yeah.
You know?
Can't wait.
Having a setup like we had back then was so encouraging for comedy because that was when I was kicked out of the store and we were trying to find some other places to go and things to do. So the Ice House became our spot for a long time. That's where we met young Jamie.
They're going to reopen soon.
Yeah, I heard.
I want to see it so bad.
Yeah, I wonder what they did. They remodeled something, and which is it was perfect.
Yeah.
Like if I bought the Ice House, I was like, we're not touching anything. Don't touch anything.
But a lot needed to work.
Fix the toilet. That's it.
Ceilings. Remember, I would come into work or come into my studio, and there would just be ceiling and water all over my shit every day.
But that's the thing about California. There's leaky roofs, and you don't find out about it until it only rains once a year. Yeah, but that was just his old-ass building. It used to be a real ice house.
Yeah.
Back in the day, the Ice House was a place where people would buy ice. And then it was a music venue for a little while. And then it became the Ice House, the comedy club.
Yeah.
That place was the shit. You know, it was such a good room that agents would not accept tapes from the Ice House because they thought it was too easy to kill there.
That's right. That was almost like a cheat code because it felt like you were at a road show, you know, so the audiences, it wasn't LA audiences.
Yeah, they weren't jaded. They're from Pasadena.
Yeah.
It was like regular people. They weren't like industry people. It was a totally different vibe. It was like killing in Columbus or something like that. Yeah.
Well, we're kind of jaded because we live in Texas and it's the best audiences in the world.
They're the
You know
best.
what I mean? You can't beat
They're the
that
best.
Texas
But we always used to say
Yeah.
that about Texas.
Yep.
Remember back in the day, we would do like the Addison Improv or the Laugh Factory or something like that, or the Laugh Stop rather.
Yep.
We were like, they're the best down here. They're just fucking partying. They're fun. They're just fun fucking people, and they're not poisoned by show business. You know.
We used to go on that Dale show. Remember the radio show?
Yeah.
He got let go recently.
Did he?
Yeah. After how many years has he done that?
Yeah. Well, they all, you know. I mean, I don't know what anybody could have done back then in terms of like do a podcast simultaneously, because I think probably a lot of their contracts said they couldn't do that.
Right.
Because that's what happened with Anthony. When Anthony was doing Live from the Compound, which is the most ridiculous show ever, and also inspired us. The two things that inspired us the most were Tom Green, for sure.
Absolutely.
Because remember when we went to his house, we were like, holy shit, he's got a talk show. But he did it almost like an internet version of a traditional talk show. And then the other thing was O&A. But O&A was the hang, and then Anthony Cumia, you're like, whoa, you can do that from your house too? Where it's like just you set this thing up, just like Tom Green did, and just have chaos, and have Anthony Cumia style chaos. You're like, oh shit. There was all these things that like set the table for us.
It was always so fun because every week we'd find like a new microphone. We upgrade. Oh, the cameras. That was so fun back then. It's constant shopping.
It's crazy back then how many people told us we were wasting our time.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? Because it's like everybody thought it was a just giant waste of time.
Yeah.
Like even Segura. Like Segura leaving the show was like, what is he doing? Remember he had a conversation with you?
Yeah.
Why is he doing this? It's hilarious. Now he's one of the biggest podcasters in the world.
Dude, I did a show Wednesday, and his new studio is like a legit like production company studio with tons of employees and shit.
Yeah, like way more employees than I have.
Yeah.
And everybody's running around doing different things. They have green rooms, like green screen rooms, and
Danny Brown's
Danny
room.
Brown show. Yeah.
Dr. Drew.
Danny Brown is funny as fuck.
Dude, he's hilarious.
Oh my God, his show is so funny. He's like one of the great ranters. There's a few people that are just so good at ranting. It's such a beautiful skill to just be able to talk shit about everything. And the thing about your mom's house too is they have those guys that are working there that are in the booth, and they're all laughing too. So Danny Brown's talking even more. It's like the Tim Dillon situation where he's got an audience of one, which is nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. What's next, buddy? You think virtual? I know you do
still
a lot
on
of stuff.
virtual, yeah.
But you do it more like silly. It's like fun stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I think what Meta's version of the future is not. I think it's more a little bit different than that. I feel kind of bad that they're going bankrupt and spending billions of dollars a year and shit like that.
I feel that didn't work out as good as he thought it was.
It's not.
I remember when he came on the podcast, I was enthusiastic about it. I'm like, well, he's fucking hit home runs every time. But the thing is, like, people are still weirded out about putting goggles on and going to a world that's not really there.
Right. No, I was talking to Christina and Tom the other day, and Christina's like, yeah, "Fucking, you look so stupid. Like, I hate it. And I hate looking at people doing the VR thing, because I guess she goes to the mall and does all that shit all the time with her kids, And Tom was like, "Oh, I want to buy one," so he's going to get one. But
I'll tell you what they're good for. It's workouts.
Workouts, yeah, and
like boxing,
exercise.
You do the boxing one,
yeah,
you will get a fucking serious workout,
right?
Because it's like it forces you to punch, and you're like punching in the air, like just punching in the air with nothing, not hitting anything, is actually kind of more exhausting sometimes. Especially when you're punching fast, because you got to decelerate too. Whereas when you're punching something like a heavy bag, you can just punch it and hit it. There's a different thing. You'll be able to generate more power by punching it and hitting it, because you're hitting it and you're actually almost like lifting weights when you're pushing the bag off, because there's resistance. So it builds your power. But for a workout, man, working out, like having those little things on your hands, and you see the boxing gloves in front of you, and the guy comes at you, it's wild, man. It's hard to do.
The only problem I think is it's too big right now to really take it to the next level for working out. Like, it gets hot. It's, you got this big plastic thing on your face. But I think in the future, when it gets smaller and it gets more like goggles or glasses,
it'll be like those Brian Bosworth sunglasses.
Yeah.
Once it gets to that,
yeah.
Remember those?
Yeah. What are those? Oakleys? Or
Yeah. Remember the Boz?
Yeah. Fucking Boz.
Remember that guy?
What happened to that guy?
Well, he became a movie. He was a football player, but he fucked his shoulder up, and then he went from football to the movies. He was a movie star in like a couple of movies.
Then I don't know. I
don't know what happened. Is he still around? Where's Brian Bosworth?
Yeah,
there he is.
What happened? He was all over the place for a while.
Look at that handsome bastard.
God, where's the
There's a few of those football players that transitioned to become movie stars that just gave it up. Like Howie Long was another one. Remember that? Yeah, look at that.
Howie's on TV still.
Howie's on TV as a football analyst, right? Yeah. But he was he was a movie star for a while, remember?
Refrigerator Perry, remember him?
Oh yeah, but I don't think he did movies.
No.
So Bosworth is still around? What does he do now?
I don't know.
Dude, he was a tank. That's him now.
Wow.
Still a handsome
He is
bastard.
still around.
Look at him. Look at
Looks
that
better now.
Look at that sultry looking motherfucker. Yeah, but he apparently he like knew his shoulder was fucked up when he got signed, but he was like a giant superstar. Like I think it was like part of it was he was a talented player, but part of it was the look and the image and all this shit. Where's he at now?
Oklahoma.
He's in Oklahoma. Is he still
Or
around?
No, is he?
He's in a bunch of movies. Did The Longest Yard, One Tough Bastard, Stone Cold. That's the one he did. That was the big one
that's
in
the best one.
1991. Oh no, 96 was the last one.
No, there's
Midnight Heat?
They're not in order or anything.
What was his? I think the big one was Stone Cold, though, right? Wasn't that his like first breakout movie?
I remember Stone Cold the most.
Yeah. Everybody, he was like the fucking man. There's like these guys every now and then.
Shoulder injury, 88.
Yep.
He was also in The Longest Yard with Joey Diaz.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
Stone
right.
Cold, 91.
91. That was the big movie. Stone Cold. On again, off again film career. Starring in several low-budget films, such as One Man's Justice, which went straight to DVD. Remember those days? Remember those days of going into Blockbuster and just looking around?
I miss it.
They were fun days, man.
Yeah.
There's fun days when you know, like, we almost have, like, too many options. I don't like to say that because I think it's awesome that more content creators exist and more people have a chance to create things. The barrier for entry is so much different than it used to be. But there was something cool. But I think it was only cool because we can look back. Back then, if you gave us Netflix, we'd be like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I get it instantly. I just press a button. Holy shit, this is crazy. I don't even have to leave the house. Back then, you'd have to go out in the snow. You'd have to go to Blockbusters and fucking skid in the parking lot. Remember those days?
Then you have to rewind your tapes. So you
Oh,
get charged.
yeah, you get charged. Sometimes your shit would get stuck.
Yeah.
You know, it'd get stuck inside the machine.
Remember, like videotapes or movies back then. Like if you lost it was like $80 or like $100. It wasn't like
Yeah.
they were super overpriced.
I remember I went to this local video store and they would charge you if you didn't return a film, but I was too shy to bring back pornos, so I'd rent them and just keep them. Charge me. Like 10 of them. I think that's what most people did. They didn't want to bring back, Debbie Does Dallas and put a stack of these fucking porns down. You fucking pervert.
Yeah, I've told you this before on the show, but I used to work at a video store, over a 24-hour store, had a porn side, and my kindergarten teacher came in a woman, buying porn, and I don't think she recognized me, but I recognized her, but it was creepy.
Let her live.
That's a rare lady back then.
Yeah.
A lady that goes to get the porn?
Yeah.
Bet people probably had a totally different attitude about porn because it was so new. It was such a new thing. And it didn't have a negative connotation yet. Like, you didn't think of porn as, like, people who were abused as a child that went on to do porn. You just thought, people fucking, this is great. Like, nobody thought about, how did this start? Like, who's doing this? Why are you doing it? What's your motivation? Like, are you hooked on drugs? Like, no one thought that. Just, people are fucking, this is great, I can get a video. And remember, you had to go through those saloon doors or push the beads aside.
Yeah, the beads. And there was like drug tests, like pipes.
They sold all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
Brass knuckles.
Yeah, brass knuckles.
If they sold porn, they also sold brass knuckles and bongs. Yeah, if you went to an actual adult store, those are the creepiest. Because those, you're not even pretending you're there to rent a Patrick Swayze movie. You're only going straight for porn.
Right.
Those are the creepiest stores to go to. It was like Porn Emporium or something like that, and you walk in, you're like, "Ooh."
They probably don't exist anymore.
No, I'm looking. It does. I
I'm
was
sure.
growing up, I was like, why was it called the Lion's Den?
Right.
But I don't think they all were. It's just the one that started in where we were from.
Yeah.
I've seen them in Texas.
Yeah,
You're
they're
driving
here.
on the highway.
Yeah, they're here.
Oh, there is one on
Triple
the
X
I-35.
Emporium or whatever the fuck it is, and they sell lingerie and dildos and shit. Yeah, but that was the only place for a while where you could get porn. Like, when I was a kid, magazines couldn't show erections. Like, the guys had to be soft. So the women could have their vaginas open, spread eagle, and pulling their pussy lips aside, and the guy had to have, like, this limp dick. Like, people were afraid of dicks. Like, this is in the 80s. Like, you couldn't have a hard dick in a magazine. It would be against the law. They'd put you in a cage.
It's ridiculous.
They would come in and arrest you. If you had a magazine filled with hard dicks, like, what the fuck are you doing? My wife's going to see that dick. Guaranteed that's what it was. Guaranteed it was a guy with a little dick. Is like, we can't have that.
Right.
No hard dicks.
You didn't grow up with this that way, like maybe you did, Brian. I don't know. We always had a friend with a single dad who would have either the stack of magazines or like he had the black box. So he had access to the channel that everyone else was scrambled.
Black box, yeah.
Skinamax.
No one else had that box. It was always like the single dad had.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Well, before there was that option to get porn, you had to jerk off through your memory. Or you had to get a lingerie catalog.
JCPenney catalog, Christmas catalog.
You weren't inspired.
Remember those big books? Every year you would get the big book, and you would like go through like all the toys and you had to write down the numbers, you know, and order it through the mail.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, man. People got addicted to ordering through catalogs because it's just like people are addicted to internet shopping. You know, people are addicted to internet shopping.
Oh, I'm addicted to internet.
It's fucking so addictive. Yeah. You're like, I need that money clip.
Yeah. I was so high the other day I couldn't remember how you bought a plane ticket without the internet. Like I was like, how did that even? I don't remember ever doing it my entire life. But yeah, I guess it was a phone call.
Yeah.
I remember when you bought a plane ticket, you didn't have to show a license. You didn't have to show who you were.
Yeah.
You just had a ticket. You'd just be able to show them the ticket. You give them the ticket. You get on the plane. Like somebody could give you their ticket.
Smoking.
I remember those days. Yes.
You just show up to the airport too, like I need to get to Ohio. Okay, 3 hours from now there's a flight to here. There's 3 seats left. You can have one of them.
That's craziness.
Yeah. How did you just went to the airport? Or did you buy tickets in advance?
I think over the phone. I think you would call them.
Sometimes you would buy it months in advance.
And they send them to you?
I think so.
It's hilarious.
I think I remember.
How'd they write? They wrote their books with a feather?
Fucking idea.
And there was no printing press at all. And that it's so crazy how much things have changed just inside of our life. And now every ticket's on your phone and you walk by the thing, bloop, scans your ticket. Crazy.
The TSA didn't really have any technology. It was like, you pinky swear you don't have anything on you.
I don't think it existed.
I
don't think there was
anything. There was a metal detector maybe, but that's about it.
No, you used to be able to go right to the gate, remember?
Yes. And you could go to the gate and meet your friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went and met my dad, and they let me hop back on the plane and like sit in the thing.
Oh, wow.
I would have been like, I want to go home.
Now if you leave your phone on the plane, you can't go back on the plane to get your phone.
Yeah.
What do you expect me to do? I'm still in the airport. I just got off the plane. What the fuck is wrong with you? But back then, they didn't have to take off your shoes. It was that Richard Spencer guy, that shoe bomber.
Right.
Once he tried to blow himself up, and they said, all right,
for luggage.
No charge for luggage. Remember that? Yeah. It was just it was just a different world back then, man. That you could smoke on a plane is so crazy. Dice Clay used to have a joke about it. About I could smoke here, but I can't smoke here. We're in a fucking tube. He had this whole bit about smoking on a plane.
There's a video that just came out like a couple of days ago of this guy, like last week, just packed plane and just pulls out a cigarette and starts smoking it. And it's just so weird to see. Everyone's freaking out, like looking at him like, what, is he really smoking a cigarette?
Yeah, that used to be normal.
Yeah.
I remember there's an old video of Bertrand Russell, and Bertrand Russell would not fly unless he could smoke on a plane. And he was talking about it. See if you can find that. It's a crazy, crazy video because, here's like this cherished intellectual who just loved tobacco, and he could not be without tobacco.
Of the sort of conventional self-indulgences or vices like drinking, tobacco and so on, which is your favorite one?
Oh, tobacco. I smoke a pipe all day long except when I'm eating or sleeping.
Hasn't that shortened your life?
Well, they used to say it would when I first took to it, but I took to it some 70 years ago, so it doesn't seem to have had a very great effect so far. In fact, on one occasion it saved my life. I was in an airplane, and the man was getting a seat for me, and I said, get me a seat in the smoking part. So if I can't smoke, I should die. And sure enough, there was an accident, a bad accident, and all the people in the non-smoking part of the plane were drowned. And the people in the smoking part jumped into the Norwegian fjord where we landed and were saved. So that I owe my life to smoking.
Did you have...
What the hell?
That was back when planes crashed all the time. That's one thing where technology got way better.
Yeah.
Preventing plane crashes. Plane crashes were so normal. Mm-hmm. They were so fucking normal. They happened all the time. Like they would happen like once a month.
The plane just drives itself pretty much nowadays.
Yeah, and they're just really good at knowing when to fly and when not to fly. They have better understanding of the weather conditions. Back then, they would just, is it windy? Yeah, fucking, let's go, bitch. They just go up, and the wind would be going 100 miles an hour sideways. I wonder if they even had a way of measuring it back then accurately, like at distance.
Yeah.
Like, if you're flying over the country, they know now where the patches of turbulence are, and they avoid them. They go, we're going through a rough spot, but we're going to clear this and go to the next, and there's nothing up above it. So they know where the wind is now. Still, I was flying back from Detroit, and we were in the middle of a thunderstorm. It was creepy, dude. It was creepy. We're looking out the window on the way to Austin, and we couldn't land in Austin. We wound up landing somewhere else, and then we had to transport to Austin.
Wow.
Yeah, it was sketchy.
Once in a while, that shit still happens, and it's always when I'm stoned too. I'm like, why did this happen to happen?
Oh
when
yeah.
I'm stoned?
Well, it's most of the time when I'm on an airplane.
Yeah.
I don't like to be on an airplane sober.
Fuck that.
Like, what am I gonna do? I have zero responsibility for 3 hours. Why would I be sober?
Right.
Yeah.
but it's just watching the lightning in the sky while you're flying around. You realize I'm just floating in air here in the middle of an electrical storm. This is such a bad idea.
Yeah.
That's how people got. That's how people go. Happens all the time.
Especially the small planes.
Especially if you know the Clintons.
Yeah. Especially the private jets that everyone's doing nowadays. Those are even scarier during storms.
Oh, yeah, man. For sure. Yeah, but they're all scary, man. It's a metal fucking thing in the sky while it's lightning is crackling. The thing about Texas as opposed to California is that it rains a lot here. Like we get to experience rain. I fucking love it.
I love it, but it's so violent.
Yeah.
Like compared to even like, Ohio, we used to have thunderstorms all the time. There's something about Texas, and I think it must be because of the ocean being around it or near or something like that.
What about California? The ocean's near that.
Yeah, but I just mean the lightning so much. Like when it's a lightning storm out here, our whole house rumbles and it's deeper and it's.
I don't know, but I'm guessing that's because there's more moisture here.
Right.
There's more humidity.
Yeah.
So I'd imagine that has something to do. Is that what?
I'm not only want to correct, but I think it has more to do with atmospheric pressure and things like to that. And the jet stream doesn't really go down through Southern California a ton, and here is like right on the spot where everything kind of mixes.
It's fucking scary sometimes.
Scary as shit is tornadoes.
And the wind. Yeah.
I remember watching this video. It was outside of Dallas. It was on television. And there were semi trucks that were flying through the air. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
A semi truck just floating around the air like a paper cup.
Yeah.
It was floating around the sky. This twister touched down on this area that had semis. It was fucking nuts.
Yeah, that tornado from 4 months ago, it was like literally 5 miles from my house. And then I went through Hutto and just destroyed all those things in Hutto. And
what did it destroy? Houses?
Like houses, a shopping center, like tore through all these, like this neighborhood. There's this drone footage of this neighborhood. And every single roof is like missing, and except there will be like one house that's untouched, and then everything else around is just bombed.
There's this wild video of this guy. He's driving in his car at night. They're trying to get away from a tornado, and it's dark out, so you can't see it. But every now and then the lightning cracks, and you see the tornado in the distance. And this guy doesn't even know, like, is he going the right way? What if it turns directions? I mean, is he listening to the Doppler radar at every second of every day? So watch this guy's driving, and look at that. Look at that fucking tornado in the distance. Imagine that's a monster. It's like a King Kong just running at you, 1,000 feet tall. But it's crazy because like you only see it when the sky flashes with lightning. Other than that, it's just dark. And then you get a sense of where this thing is going, but you're just guessing. You're just hoping the lightning still keeps going so you can get a sense of where it's going. And you can look at the cars going.
Oh, my God.
The cars are driving by it. Oh, my God.
Imagine that now it's like the year of BC 2000 and you're seeing
Oh,
this.
my God. And you have a tent. And you don't even know. What do you do? Do you get to the cave? I guess you have to get to the cave.
Would you have ever seen a tornado before? Like, did they even know what the fuck that was?
Probably thought it was a monster or something.
Well, you got to think the Plains Indians for sure saw that. They lived in those areas. They for sure saw something like that. Fuck. Did the Native Americans have an expression for tornadoes? See what that is. They probably had a whole mythology attached to tornadoes.
They believe tornadoes were living things, according to this article I just quickly pulled up. The Shawnee believed some tornadoes were kindred spirits that could never harm them. Others believed they were a cleansing agent, sweeping away negative things in life.
That's nice.
I'm sure that each one had a different take
Living
on it.
things. The sky monster. Ooh.
Ooh.
I wish
what
I
if
had
that was
ba-
what they thought dragons were? You know, there's some with a
Right.
tail, and
Yeah.
they're like, it's the fucking tornado that showed up.
Yep.
That ate
Or
everything.
what if dragons are
Spit
real?
lightning.
Like in that fucking Matthew McConaughey movie. Remember that movie?
Mm-hmm.
That movie was the shit.
I bet dragons could be real.
Back when Matthew McConaughey was jacked. He was fucking great in that movie. And what's his name was in that movie too? Christian Bale.
Mm-hmm.
What was that movie called? Reign of Fire.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Rain of Fire.
That was
Yeah.
a good movie. That's a good fucking dragon movie. The dragons, they ate carbon. They had to burn everything to eat.
That's right.
So everything they burn everything down, and then they would eat whatever was like charred. That's what they ate. So that's why they had fire. And they lived in the center of the earth, and they were in the middle of a mining thing. Yes.
Yeah, that was good.
Fuck yeah, that was good. And those were the first like Game of Thrones type dragons in a movie, because they were like Game of Thrones dragons. They weren't, they were like mythology dragons.
Yeah.
Look at that thing.
There's a video of Forrest Galante on here talking about dragons. I've seen going around recently.
Oh really?
Yeah,
he's coming on soon. Play that.
I gotta find it. They just
Find
bring
it.
up the point of like they show up everywhere, all over the world, and all sorts of mythology, and they all look the same.
Yeah, it's a good point. What do you think they were? Well, why do you think they thought they had wings?
Pterodactyls?
Maybe.
The pterodactyls were probably dragons.
You like these kind of far out there
Oh, it was
ideas.
on
How
our
do you
show.
like this
Yeah.
idea? There's a group of people that say that dragons were real, and I'll explain. So around the same time period in China, South America, Africa, all these different Rome, all these places, images depicted people fighting dragons, right? And every dragon was slightly different, but it was all a giant scaly animal that could fly. So when you break that down, you think about the fact that large birds had a hard time being fossilized because their bones are so porous, right? So because bones, they have like hollowish bones, they break down very easily and they don't fossilize. The reason there's no fossils of dragons is because they had bird bones and they were actually very delicate animals. But a handful of these small population of these giant flying lizards existed. So
They ended it there, but yeah.
That was right. I remember that now. My memory's gone. Too many podcasts.
Yeah.
Too many. Do you know what I did the other day? Someone told me about this guy and was like, "Oh, it sounds really cool." I googled him. He's been on the show. Like, what?
Yeah.
There's one. Billy Corgan. I clearly remember
From
him.
Smashing Pumpkins.
Yeah, it was over
Yeah.
5 years ago.
Whoa.
I was like, what?
Whoa.
Yeah, my
Whoa.
memory's trash. It's getting worse.
It's just my memory is too much. There's too much in there, and then every now and then I'll pull something out of my ass. I'm like, how do I even remember that? But I think right now my hard drive is beyond full. My disks are skipping, and I try to incorporate new information, and every time I do, I have to delete some old shit. It's like that thing, what is it, Dunbar's number, where you can only keep a certain
Yeah.
amount of people in your life, like intimate friendships.
Right. We've talked about this like 10 times. We forgot it already.
Well, actually, we talked about it recently, and Jamie pulled it up that it actually is scaled. It's like you can. There's like an X amount that are like your close friends, but then there are other ones that are like distant acquaintances, and the number gets bigger and bigger. It gets to be like 1,500 people or something like that.
There's different scales
Yeah,
of
see,
explanation, but-
there it goes. It goes to 1,500. Go back to that one, that last one. See, there's all these, like, there's 5 people that are really close to you, and there's 15 close friends, and then 35 acquaintances, and 150 people you know, and so this is, as it gets further off, there's like more and more distance. And you think about guys like us who have had podcasts with thousands of people,
And
of
social
people.
media.
And
Like
social
people-
media.
yeah.
But the podcast thing, like, you've had actual physical conversations with thousands of people that you probably forget.
Yeah.
How many
Totally
people have you had on Kill Tony?
Well, we're like, what, 580, maybe 2 guests. Probably over 1,000, over 1,000 at least. More than that.
At least.
And then all the comics that go on the shows.
Oh, yeah.
And,
at least.
yeah.
And then, I mean, how many comics do we know that we've met on the road? And this guy opened here, and you saw this guy, and then some guys just, they drop off and you forget about them. And you're like, oh, yeah, Henry Cho. Whatever happened to that guy? Remember that guy?
Yeah.
The Asian guy with a southern accent? It was like, whoa.
Yeah.
And there was a bunch of guys like that were like, you go, whatever happened to that guy? Like, where'd he go?
Yeah.
You know, like, I was thinking the other day of, there was a prop guy that was like really popular at one point in time that I was trying to remember his name. He was a prop guy that was popular in like the 1980s, and he had like a bag of eye boogers that he pulled out, like a jar. I've been saving them my whole life. He like pulled it out. I forget his name, but it was funny. But he's like, before Carrot Top, that was a genre of comedy. You'd see a lot of different, and then teams. There was team comedy. Now there's only like the Sklar brothers.
Joey and
Jimmy.
Jimmy.
Yeah, there was a bunch of those guys. Fat Johnny and the Round, Red Johnny and the Round guy. Those guys would murder. Those guys would murder. I remember those guys in New York. They would close with a rap. They had a rap, and if you had to follow that rap, you were fucked because it was so much energy, and it all rhymed, and they would close, boom, and everybody would go, ah! Then you had to go on afterwards. Hey, you ever noticed? Like, shut the fuck up and rap. Like on the road, like if you went on after a guy who had a song, a guy who busted out a guitar and had a song, you were doomed.
Yeah,
you were doomed. There was guys that were they just had dirty songs.
That's right.
There was a famous guy way back in the day that had just dirty songs. Oh my God, he was an East Coast guy. He was really dirty songs. It was like in the 80s, and he was super controversial even in the 80s.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what was his name? I cannot remember, but he was the dirty song guy. And like your parents told you about him, like your parents knew about this guy. See, find it like...
Yeah, what is that guy?
There's so many guys that people forgot about. Did you ever see Bob Woods?
No.
Bob Woods is the guy people forgot about. He was like a Long Island legend. Hilarious guy. He does this show once. And he's doing this show, and there's kids in the audience. And he goes into this bit. And he's, I think the bit is talking about blowjobs. And they go, Bob. There's kids in the crowd. He goes, let them learn. He just went right into the bit and crushed.
It is weird anytime there's kids in the audience. Like, why are these
worst.
kids here?
Do you remember when the Improv used to have those high school shows?
Yeah.
Those were crazy. You're like, these are 15-year-olds in the audience.
And they would tell you, don't change your material, just do what you would normally do.
Yes.
Like, why are you telling me this?
That should be illegal.
Yeah.
These guys literally shouldn't be here.
Right.
And there's some loophole where they're allowed to go. It's like, as long as they didn't drink, they were allowed, like, for one show, they had a license to have fucking 14-year-olds in the crowd.
So weird.
And you'd look at their faces. They couldn't even believe they're at a comedy show.
Yeah. They've never seen anything like it.
What a great teacher.
How cool would that be, though, to be 14
yeah.
and be able to do that? Yeah, because I was a grown man when I went to my first comedy show.
Yeah, if you could, I mean, what a great way to recruit stand-ups. Get someone to be into stand-up, like get them to see what it's like when they're really young and be in the audience. Because most people, they watch stand-up, it's on television. And I always say that like stand-up on television is like 60 to 70% as good as it is when you're live. So if you see a special like Bill Burr that makes you laugh hysterically when you're at home, imagine how good it would be. You know, to see Chris Rock in person. He's, 50 feet from you, murdering. There's something about when you're there live. It's like, who's really fucking funny? Adam Sandler. I saw him live in Vegas last weekend.
Oh, you did?
He was really funny, dude. Huh. It's so Adam Sandler. It's so silly.
A lot of music?
Yeah, he does music, but he also does just straight stand-up. Wow. The stand-up is, he has this bit about the way words are pronounced. I don't want to fuck the bit up, but it's really funny, man. Wow. At the end, I was like clapping. I was like, what a great bit. It's a great bit, man. I don't want to give it away, but it's a really good bit.
Is he touring, or was this just like one special? Wow,
no, he's touring.
I would like to see.
And Rob Schneider opened up for him, too.
Oh,
he was
cool.
really funny, man.
Yeah,
Rob Schneider's really fucking funny. I hadn't seen Rob Schneider do stand-up in a long time. He killed. It was funny, man. I was laughing hard. I was like, this is a good show, man. It was really funny.
That's great.
But Adam he's so Adam Sandler on stage. Like, silly and...
Coming here in February.
In February, where at? The Moody?
Huh?
Yeah.
Did you say hi to him?
Yeah, I hung out with him. Went backstage and said what's up. He's a cool motherfucker. Always has been. He's just a regular guy. Like he's as normal as you. In one of the ways he got to be so normal is he works with the same people always. He brings the same comics. He has them in movies, and occasionally brings in actresses and different people and actors that he doesn't know. But the vibe is all the same because like everybody, there's the same directors, same writers. Like everybody's cool together, and they all know each other. It's just a fun vibe.
Yep.
I did Zookeeper with him.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so I got to hang out with him. He's just a great guy. He's just a cool motherfucker.
And during the pandemic, me and my family watched every Adam Sandler movie except for Little Nicky. We never got to Little Nicky.
Oh, I like
For
Little
whatever-
Nicky.
I never saw it.
Yeah.
But we watched the Zohan. That's a fucking underrated movie, man.
Yeah.
He has fun movies, man. They're so silly.
You can do it.
They yell that out when Rob Schneider gets on stage, by the way.
He
and
must
has
hate
to just.
that. He
It's like
probably
remember when Chappelle would go on stage and everybody would go, "I'm rich, bitch," or "I'm Rick James, bitch." They would do that. They would yell out, "I'm Rick James."
I smoke rocks, Joe Rogan.
There was a lot of that, man. When I
Did you ever see this movie?
which one?
Wrong
The
Missy.
Wrong Missy?
on
No.
Netflix.
Oh, I didn't see
it's
that.
from Adam Sandler's production company. You know, it's fucking really funny.
Of course it is.
Hilariously funny.
Oh, that's 2020.
That's
No,
Nick
I never
Swartzen.
saw it. I'll have to see it.
Did you know
James
Nick
Spade.
Swartzen almost died? Did you hear about that?
Yes, I did.
That's crazy. He was in
Yeah.
town the other day.
Yeah, I missed him. I didn't get a chance to see him.
I love him.
He's a great guy. I love him too. That whole crew he's got, fucking hilarious people, man. There's some funny ass fucking people they put in those movies. But those movies never got any love. Like Happy Madison, all the critics shit on them.
Yeah.
You know, people just, for whatever reason, audiences love them and critics hate them.
Well, because it was immature and stupid. It's like
Yeah.
what the audience likes and not critics.
But it's fun. That's
Right.
what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
It's like, going to see an orchestra and you're upset that it's not Slayer.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
the same
exactly.
thing. It's like,
Yeah.
you know what it is. Like, you don't have to like it. But if you don't like it, maybe you're not the right person to be reviewing it. Because obviously there's an entertainment value to this that a lot of people like. It'd be like somebody who hates comic books, like reviewing a comic book. Like, that's not your thing.
Right.
Like, for some people, comic books are awesome. But it's one of those things where you're a fool if you like this. Why do you like this? What's wrong with you, Brian?
I was always a fan growing up. His music, Slap a Joe, Slap a Joe.
Yeah,
And,
the Hanukkah song.
Yeah.
Hey, do you have that Apple Ultra watch? Is that what that is?
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
It's awesome. It's way better. You know why it's good? It's because it lasts like 3 days.
Yeah.
My problem was with the regular Apple Watch is forgetting to put it on the charger at night and stuff like that. I don't even remember the last time I charged it. It's just
I like when it has that cool red color.
Yeah, the red
That's
color's
dope.
nice.
That looks
Look at that.
nice, dude. That does look nice. You just touch it. You can make
Yeah.
phone calls with it and shit. Like
Yeah.
Dick Tracy.
Oh, that's the best, especially if you're working out or if you just don't want to bring your phone. You could just take calls on here and text on here. Sometimes I'll just leave my phone at home, like if I'm going out and going to a restaurant or something,
What's super underrated is the talk to text feature.
Yeah, works great.
It's amazing how good it works.
Yeah.
It work that's most of the text I send. Like if I'm in the car and someone sends me a text message, I don't have to take my hands off the steering wheel.
Yep.
You just start, "Hey Siri," and just tell that bitch what to do.
Yep. And for a comedian, it's one of the best tools ever because you can sit there with a voice recorder on, when you're on stage and just record right into the,
Yeah, right
Love
next
it.
to your
Yeah.
microphone.
Yep.
Recording your sets is so fucking important, man. It's the best way to remember shit. The best way to you get a third party perspective. You get to look at your shit from outside and listen to it.
It's important.
Yeah, and you were the first person to tell me to do it on the phone and on your watch.
Yeah.
You could do it on both.
Yeah. Just got to put it in airplane mode. So.
Yeah, and then you get two versions of it.
Yeah, and I usually put it on the stool, the phone on the stool facing the audience, so you get the audience kind of sound, and then have this in your for your microphone.
And you can mix it.
Yeah.
What, you got a message there? So
Yeah.
you get distracted. That's the problem with those things. You're constantly getting emails and text messages.
Well, you can put it in airplane mode.
Does it send pictures? Can you get a dick pic on that?
Yeah, I could get a dick
Ooh.
pic. Yeah.
Really? So they send images? You can see images on that watch?
Yeah, you could.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a game changer.
Yeah, it's and like I know everybody loves fancy, expensive like Rolexes and stuff, and that's great. If you're going to a nice place or something, but they're not functional. Like, there's so much you could do on this watch. It's like why wouldn't you want to be able to get alerts or take phone calls or record something? Especially like if you're like in a bad situation, say like just hit record on your watch real quick, and they don't even know you're fucking recording them. Stuff like that.
That and also like you get GPS on it, right?
Yeah,
So you
GPS.
can figure out where you're going.
Yeah. If I fall down, it will call 911.
Does that ever happen accidentally?
No, I haven't had it.
You black out while jerking off?
No.
Cops show up.
I tell you one thing it does though. When I'm playing virtual reality, I'll get constant high heart rate things because it's like you're sitting still. You should not be having a high heart rate. And I'm like, I'm fucking flying right now. And, you know,
so what do? You take it off when you do VR?
Yeah, there needs to be a VR mode because it's so fucking annoying.
But they're good for fitness apps too, right?
Yeah.
Are they good at reading? The old one, the problem is like I have tattoos. And it doesn't see the old one didn't see through the tattoos very good.
Oh yeah, it's all that's fine now.
They fixed that.
Yeah, they fixed it, and it tracks everything constantly. Like it tells you how many stairs have you taken every day, how long you.
I think it's such a good blood oxygen meter that it's like an official medical device, or it's better than most medical devices.
Yeah, yeah. You can get what's that called? The heart thing,
chest strap,
EKG or whatever.
Oh,
yeah, it does EKGs.
Yeah.
What?
Yep.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought they had to like strap shit to your chest.
It's not the best one, but it's it's more for like an old person. It'll tell you, hey, something's different about the way your heart's beating today. You might want to go fucking see someone about this.
But like, does Whoop do that too? Doesn't?
No, it's not the same kind of thing.
Really?
And you're at a store, forget your wallet. Oh, here, tick, tick. You know, just check out with my watch.
I love paying shit with my phone.
Oh, it's the best.
It makes me feel like I'm in the future.
It's so much safer too.
Look at it.
Yeah.
Put it on the thing.
So much safer also because, you know, people with credit card skimmers and stuff like that, like it's.
Plus, it's just cool.
It is cool.
You
I like
pay for shit with your fucking phone.
It's an ECG. We're not an EKG.
ECG. What is ECG? Records the timing and strength of the electrical signals that make your heart beat. By looking at an ECG, a doctor can gain insights about your heart rhythm and look for irregularities. How to use the ECG app. Wow. That's incredible.
It's also interesting, like I do the sleep tracking, so it shows me how many times I wake up, how deep my sleep is. You know, I get a report every time I wake up. It's like...
Is the functionality of that one different in that way than the regular Apple Watch? Or is it just a battery thing and some more features?
It's battery, and it's also for like scuba diving, and it's got a couple little things here and there. This is definitely the way to go. It's bigger too, you know.
It's supposed to be super durable too.
Yeah.
Like people smacking against things to show you.
Yeah. I recommend it highly.
Isn't it nuts that sapphire is durable? The crystal, you would think like, what is that? It's fucking glass.
Yeah, but it's strong as a diamond or something like that, right?
Strong? Nah, not that strong.
No?
No, I don't believe so. Strong as fuck, though.
Yeah.
That's officially strong as fuck.
Strong as fuck.
Let's wrap this up, young Brian.
Yeah.
Good times, buddy.
Good times.
A lot of fun.
Good seeing you.
Kill Tony every Monday on the YouTube channel and also live at Vulcan if you can get a ticket. But that shit sells out quick, which is amazing.
It's. I think we put like 3 months up recently, and I think it's sold out in like 20 minutes.
You guys are on fire. It's the best fucking show to go see in front of an audience. It is so, for like that kind of a thing. There's nothing like it. And it also launches comics. Think of how many comics have launched from Kill Tony. And it's just you and Tony together and Lucas and fucking William and everybody that's the regulars and Hans and like, fuck, it's good.
Yeah.
It's such a good show.
It's a lot of fun. And we've been having so many, you know, a lot of people thought when we moved to Austin, you know, the show was going to fucking be shit and not be as good because of, dude, we've had some of the best guests just here in Austin every week. It's so crazy.
It's a thing now. Yeah. And I think also in the comedy world, it's achieved escape velocity where people just want to come to it. And it's just a fun thing to do, to be a guest, to do stand-up on it. And it really can shape careers. And also it teaches comics to be really funny in 1 minute. You can't be self-indulgent. You can't try to push an agenda. Like you got to just be funny. You have 1 minute. And if you do that, you can have a real career in stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
You really can. It's like one of the best launching pads for stand-up that's ever existed.
And there's never been anything like it for young comics to learn, you know, that fast and that easy. I mean, it's school for, if you want to be a comic, you better watch Kill Tony. It'll teach you everything.
And it's fucking humbling when it comes, like, it's humbling for people that think they could do stand-up and they do 1 minute and find out they can't. But it's also like watching David and Tony roast each other.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's like, Jesus Christ, these guys are good.
Brutal.
Those guys are so good at fucking with each other, and they both laugh at each other's things when they say things, and they do it every week. Like, there's got to be hours of David Lucas and Tony Hinchcliffe just fucking with each other, which is hilarious. Off the cup and with the band behind them, da, 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 when someone nails it.
That's me. That's me on the iPad.
Is that you?
Yeah.
That's not the band?
No. That's me. Yeah. It's
So it's
Ebony
fake?
and Ivory.
Oh, you do that too.
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, it's the most gay and fat jokes you will ever hear.
And the bear when you've gone over your time, meow, meow when you're on the fucking fence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we even have I have a Joe Rogan soundboard. Jamie's on it, and once in a while we'll have you call in.
That's hilarious. All right, my brother, I love you to death.
Love you, buddy.
You're the best. Again, Kill Tony. It's on YouTube. It's Monday nights at the Vulcan. Is it just Redban on Instagram and everything?
Redban on everything. REDBAN.
Bye, everybody.